The story begins in Qinghua City of Kangzhuan Continent, where rumors spread fast that remnants of Wuji sect have appeared in town. One man whispers in fear that they use living flesh and blood to cultivate evil arts, and mortals like them are easy prey. A young disciple of Wuji sect passes by, overhears everything, and quietly holds his breath. Lately, many righteous cultivators have arrived, determined to hunt the so-called demonic cultivators down. A soft sigh escapes as he realizes he cannot stay here long, and this man is Chu Xuan, an inner disciple of Wuji sect. He mutters that, after more than a year of being hunted, even a transmigrator like him has fallen this low. Closing his eyes, he recalls arriving in Kangzhuan Continent, with no backing, no status, and only average talent. After countless struggles, he entered Wuji sect, trained in goo worms, poison arts, disguise, corpse refining, and finally reached qi refining, just one step from becoming an elder's personal disciple. But at that very moment, the founding ancestor of Wuji sect went berserk during close cultivation and died from qi deviation. The major righteous sects of the 5 nations seized the chance, branded Wuji sect as demonic, and launched a purge. Blood filled the sect, many were killed or surrendered, and the survivors were hunted down without mercy, hatred burning deep inside Chu Xuan. He thinks about his blood transformation spirit art, which requires massive amounts of essence blood to raise his goo worms. Pain spreads through his body as veins bulge and resentment flashes in his eyes. Without more resources, he will suffer backlash and die from qi deviation. After many efforts, Chu Xuan finally contacts a surviving junior brother to arrange a crucial trade. He hopes this exchange can solve his urgent crisis. When he arrives at the meeting point, a voice calls out that senior brother Chu Xuan has finally come. Sitting down, the junior looks worried, but Chu Xuan cuts straight to the point and asks if the item was brought. The junior hands over a small pouch and warns that cultivating demonic arts is dangerous, especially with this demon beast blood pearl that could cost him his life if discovered. Chu Xuan's voice turns cold, saying that once the righteous sects sentence them to death, it no longer matters what path he cultivates. The junior laughs awkwardly and admits the resources were not easy to obtain. Chu Xuan pays 10 low-grade spirit stones as agreed, but suddenly hears a faint whisper that it is time to close the net. His expression instantly changes in shock. Inside his ear is a small conch artifact that amplifies surrounding sounds. From a nearby tavern, he hears ambushers boasting that using a Wuji trader as bait worked perfectly, and that once they capture him, all his resources will be theirs. After hearing everything, Chu Xuan lowers his head, his face darkening. He calmly asks for blood spirit pills, and the junior hesitates, saying those are meant for Foundation establishment cultivators. The junior nervously wonders if Chu Xuan has already found Elder Lias group. Chu Xuan's eyes turn icy as he warns him not to ask unnecessary questions and to hand over the pills. The junior gets excited, saying blood spirit pills are expensive, but if Chu Xuan introduces him to Elder Liu, he will give one for free plus a mid-grade spirit stone. Chu Xuan takes the items and smiles faintly, hiding dangerous intentions behind his calm face. The two leave together, unaware that the ambushers are silently following behind. An old man in the group sneers that they have hooked a big fish today, and capturing a Foundation establishment cultivator will bring huge rewards from the sect. Chu Xuan leads He Liang into a small courtyard room, while ambushers wait outside. They quietly enter a secret tunnel beneath the floor, and He Liang praises Chu Xuan for arranging such a flawless hideout. As the tunnel seems endless, He Liang grows impatient, but Chu Xuan calmly says they are almost there, and asks why he is so nervous. Chu Xuan suddenly turns back, his gaze dark and unreadable, saying he will personally see his junior off. Before He Liang can react, a violent force blasts him away and smashes open the door. The ambushers outside are stunned to see He Liang badly injured and shout his name in panic. He Liang weakly points toward the courtyard and claims Chu Xuan and Liu Zhen are below, urging them to chase and ignore him. The leading elder immediately orders everyone to charge in and kill them all. The group rushes straight into the tunnel. In a hidden corner, they suddenly find a dried corpse. A young man cries out that there is a mummified body inside. The elder steps closer under the light, revealing its face and scalp completely peeled off, frozen in extreme terror. Someone gasps that it might be He Liang. They instantly realize the man outside was Chu Xuan in disguise and rush back, only to find him already gone. Outside Qinghe City, Chu Xuan walks away calmly, still wearing He Liang's face. He slowly removes the mask and mutters that this disguise artifact is truly uncomfortable, grateful that his listening Emperor Gu exposed the ambush. He Liang's betrayal is settled, but Chu Xuan's future path is still uncertain. He wonders if he should return to the righteous path. After a long sigh, he rejects the idea, knowing he would have to cripple his cultivation and risk fatal backlash. and with his talent, he might never reach foundation establishment through orthodox methods. Clenching the mask, he realizes only demonic arts can give someone of his mediocre talent a chance at immortality. He steps firmly onto the demonic path again, deciding he will walk it to the end. Inside a small cave lit by dim light, Chu Xuan smiles at the treasures, saying today is a good day since he absorbed Heliang's spiritual power and claimed all his wealth. He takes out a mysterious artifact once hidden in Wuji sect, said to come from an outer battlefield and of extremely high grade, though it requires special compatibility to use. Channeling spiritual power into it, he wonders if someone from another world like him can activate it. The artifact suddenly shines brightly and reveals itself as a mirror. Chu Xuan freezes in shock at the sight. It looks exactly like scenes from the apocalypse movies he watched before transmigrating. He taps the mirror in disbelief, questioning if it is an illusion. Suddenly, the mirror bursts with blinding light. Chu Xuan screams as he is violently sucked inside. The mirror falls to the ground while he disappears into its hidden world. Holding his head in chaos, he mutters that he has been pulled into the mirror. Looking around, he realizes he has entered another world entirely. The ruined landscape makes him wonder if it was destroyed by war, plague, or even alien invasion. He scans the area, hoping this is not his former Earth, and wishes to find a survivor. Suddenly, he spots a man ahead, with his back turned, hurriedly picking up something to eat. Chu Xuan approaches in relief, thinking he has finally found a living person. But when the man turns around, horror strikes as it reveals a walking corpse gnawing on a dried body, sending chills down Chu Xuan's spine. As it lunges forward with bones cracking, Chu Xuan panics and shouts, "A zombie." He waves his hand and summons his corpse general Gu, and a goo worm crawls out from his palm. It shoots forward and quickly knocks the zombie to the ground. Chu Xuan exhales in relief, realizing these bodies are no stronger than mortals and cannot withstand a single strike from a chi-refining goo worm. The goo worm begins to stir and turns toward the zombie corpse, and he wonders if it wants to devour it. A thought flashes in his mind that since zombies can move, they count as living beings, so maybe they can be used to cultivate and feed his goo worms. The blood corpse goo crawls over and starts absorbing the zombie remains. Stroking the goo worm, Chu Xuan smiles, confirming it works and suits his goo perfectly. Suddenly, more zombies howl and rush toward him from behind. Chu Xuan slowly stands up with a smug expression and declares that from today on he will cultivate demonic arts without worrying about essence blood. Feeding his goo worms will no longer be a problem. Zombies begin flooding in from all directions. Chu Xuan scans the surroundings as a bold idea forms in his mind. This entire city, even this whole planet, will become his cultivation resource ground. With a simple motion, he wipes out the approaching zombies and claims he is eliminating evil, so heaven will not punish him. As the blood corpse goo keeps absorbing essence blood, he says he can now freely grow stronger and chase ambitions he never dared to dream of before. Standing atop piles of corpses with arms spread wide, he vows to nurture his goo here and walk the demonic path toward eternal life. Among the scattered bodies, he calmly announces that he has already broken through from chi-refining 4th layer to 5th layer, calling this place a holy land for demonic cultivation. Still, hunting and absorbing them himself is troublesome, so he plans to refine yin courses to do the work for him. Looking over the weak and sickly zombies below, he judges them unfit, as proper corpse refinement requires strong bodies filled with resentment. These are nothing more than rotten wood to him. In the end, he decides to use this large commercial district as his base and wait for better material to appear. Elsewhere, a young man is surrounded by zombies and desperately cries for help from Hu Ge. He begs, saying he attracted the zombies and gathered supplies as promised, and he cannot die because his mother and sister depend on him. Standing above, Tang Hu coldly reveals that the young man's mother died last night, and that the Spirit Hound gang would never waste medicine on a 60-year-old woman. The young man turns pale and stammers in disbelief. Ignoring his screams, Tang Hu walks away with a sneer, thanking him for luring the zombies and promising to take care of his sister after he dies. As the zombies tear him apart, the young man uses his final breath to curse Tang Hu with retribution. Tang Hu laughs while running, saying there is no such thing as karma in a world where the strong devour the weak. Suddenly, a dark shadow flashes behind a wall, making him freeze and shout who is there. Chu Xuan slowly steps out, eyes scanning Tang Hu from head to toe as a faint smile appears. He comments that Tang Hu's physique is quite decent. Startled, Tang Hu becomes alert and uneasy at the sight of this strangely dressed man he has never seen in Donghu City. Chu Xuan calmly explains that Tang Hu's body is perfect material for corpse refinement and orders him to become his servant. Furious, Tang Hu swings his blade and charges, yelling that Chu Xuan is courting death. But the moment the blade comes down, A goo worm slithers out from Chushuan's hand, easily blocking and snapping the blade in half. Tang Hu collapses in shock, realizing this man who coexists with insects must be extraordinary and far beyond his level. Forcing a smile, he quickly begs for mercy, saying his brother-in-law is Zhao Lauda of the Spirit Hound Gang and offers supplies in exchange for his life. Hearing this, Chushuan pauses slightly and asks about the Spirit Hound Gang. Tang Hu hurriedly explains that the Spirit Hound Gang is the biggest force in Donghu City, and his brother-in-law Zhao Hong is a famous superhuman far stronger than him. Chushuan sneers with disdain, saying that being 10 times stronger than a mortal like him is nothing worth caring about. Without hesitation, he orders the blood corpse to bind Tang Hu tightly. Then he drags him before the corpse refinement furnace he has prepared. He coldly says that once he awakens all the resentment inside Tang Hu, he will become a sturdy corpse puppet. Tang Hu falls into despair and begs for mercy, asking why he must die when they have no grudge. Chushuan leans close and whispers that Tang Hu himself said, "This world follows the rule of the strong devouring the weak, and killing someone like him does not even reduce merit." As soon as he finishes speaking, the blood corpse releases him, and Tang Hu drops straight into the furnace. In corpse refinement, yin corpses match cultivator realms, from corpse soldier to corpse king, and Chushuan holds the Vajra corpse refinement art of the corpse ghost sect. A refined yin corpse has a body tough as steel, immune to blades, and once complete can rival a chi refining cultivator. 3 quiet days pass. Tang Hu is fully transformed into a yin corpse. Chushuan looks at the result with satisfaction, surprised that his first refinement succeeded so smoothly. He takes out a small tower artifact and appraises it as a low-grade corpse nourishing tower, used to store and evaluate yin courses. It shows a mid-grade yin corpse at corpsey soldier 2nd layer with talents blood drain and Vajra curse, strong enough to rival a 4th layer chi refining cultivator. Chushuan names it Xiao Hu and orders it to collect corpses and flesh for him. Xiao Hu immediately rushes out to execute the command. Its zombie hunting efficiency clearly surpasses Chushuan's. Watching with a pleased smile, Chushuan says this corpse soldier can clear the entire mall while he simply waits. A zombie just standing up has its head crushed instantly by Xiao Hu. The body is lifted like cargo. Then it is brought back and placed before Chushuan. He nods in approval. He praises Xiao Hu and promises to let it absorb the leftovers after he extracts the blood, which might raise its level further. Standing quietly, he reflects that he was once hunted in Kangzhuan continent, yet now he can dominate this world and even taste the life he once dreamed of. All of it is thanks to the blood mirror, the mysterious treasure that brought him here, though it has grown dim after transporting him. Its power is not gone, only dormant, slowly gathering energy to recover one day. Returning now to Kangzhuan would mean endless pursuit by righteous sects, so he chooses to keep cultivating on this zombie planet until the right time. Under the dark city night, corpses float in the air under his control, forming a terrifying scene. At Hauding Hotel in Donghu City, a trembling young man kneels as a cold voice questions why he failed to investigate Tang Hu's disappearance within half a month. The young man collapses in fear and stammers for mercy. The man before him is Zhao Hong, leader of the Spirit Hound Gang, who coldly reminds him that a full month has already passed. His spirit hound growls menacingly as the young man reports that Tang Hu vanished at Xiaorunfa Mall, a dangerous place where 2 investigators also disappeared, likely due to a high-level zombie. Zhao Hong slowly steps forward, stroking the spirit hound, and saying he cannot blame him since he is not a superhuman. Thinking he is spared, the young man thanks him, but Zhao Hong coldly adds that he does not keep useless people. The spirit hound immediately lunges forward and bites viciously. The young man is killed on the spot. Without hesitation, Zhao Hong orders that they must see Tang Hu alive or find his corpse, then brings Wang Bao with Da Huang and He to Xiaorunfa Mall. An armored vehicle roars through the wasteland, crushing zombies in its path. The vehicle door slowly opens. Zhao Hong steps out with 2 massive spirit hounds, scanning the area sharply. He frowns at the strange lack of zombies and orders the beasts to scout inside first. After a while, he follows in, muttering that the place feels too quiet and decides to head upstairs. He enters a room drenched in blood. The stench hits him hard, forcing him to cover his nose as confusion fills his eyes. Giant iron barrels stand before him, each filled with thick crimson liquid. One wolf raises its head and growls deeply in anger. Zhao Hong follows its gaze and suddenly realizes something above. Countless corpses are hanging in midair, swaying slowly. The horrifying sight makes his body go cold as a subordinate vomits and wonders who could commit such cruelty, fearing Tang Hu died here. After vomiting, the man trembles and asks what they should do next, while Zhao Hong grits his teeth in fury and vows to settle this debt no matter who is responsible. His killing intent surges as the two wolves bare their fangs, and he swears to turn the culprit into a dried corpse. Meanwhile, on Kangjuan continent, a dark purple spatial vortex slowly opens inside a cave and a figure steps out. It is Chu Xuan, who inhales deeply and says he is finally back where spiritual energy is richer. Suddenly his eyes narrow as he senses something. A group approaches from behind, and he calmly turns to see disciples of Shengan sect still hunting him. One draws his sword and shouts that Chu Xuan cannot escape this time, after humiliating them before. Chu Xuan stands still with icy killing intent, mocking these mere chi-refining cultivators. The five quickly spread out and surround him. He declares he will show them the power of his upgraded blood corpse as dark red energy rises from his palm. Blood tendrils shoot out and bind them tightly as screams erupt. One panics, shouting that Chu Xuan was only 4th layer before, and Chu Xuan coldly replies he is now 6th layer. The enemy is stunned, unable to believe he broke through 2 levels in just 3 days. Chu Xuan calculates that while only 3 days passed here, he spent a full month inside the blood mirror, meaning time flows 10 times slower outside. He coldly asks who else is involved, and whether their foundation establishment uncle came. When they stay silent, he activates the blood corpse. The crimson bindings tighten mercilessly. Agonizing screams fill the cave. One body is crushed into pieces instantly, and the rest tremble in terror. Chu Xuan threatens that he may spare them if they speak, or they will share the same fate. One hurriedly confesses that only their group came, and no elder followed. Satisfied, Chu Xuan nods and says that is good enough. The 4 scream that he promised to spare them, but he smiles faintly as the blood corpse tears them apart. He mocks their naivety and licks the blood on his hand, reminding them he is a demonic cultivator. As flesh scatters across the ground, he watches the blood corpse devour it. He reflects that he once had only 1 blood strand at 4th layer, but now at 6th layer he has awakened new talents, and even holds a 3rd level yin corpse as his trump card. On Kangshuan continent, this speed would already label him a genius, but the price was brutal. His lifespan burned 10 times faster in the Kia world. If he wanted to live longer, there was only one way: break through even faster. Kia had near endless resources to temper flesh and blood, but herbs and spiritual plants still had to come from Changshuan. So before the blood mirror recharged, he needed better preparation, and from the mountain peak, Chu Xuan looked toward a distant city. That was Taiping ward of Qingqing River, packed with people and buzzing with life. After browsing the stalls, he gathered all the corpse refining materials and rare treasures he needed, but the key item was nowhere to be found on ordinary stands, meaning he needed another route. Suddenly, his gaze stopped at a small stall. On display was a skull-shaped spirit herb, and Chu Xuan instantly guessed, wasn't that withered bone grass, the token of Wuji sect. He stepped closer and pointed at it. "Fellow Taoist, how much for this Longqi fruit?" The stall owner replied, 2 low-grade spirit stones each. Chu Xuan frowned in shock, while the seller sneered, saying no one sold Longqi fruit anymore since they were all picked from the ruins of Wuji sect. Chu Xuan gestured calmly, "Pick one for me," and after a brief exchange about whether it was fully ripe, his tone subtly shifted. Lowering his voice, he repeated, asking again, "Is this fruit truly ripe?" The Kia man stiffened, clearly catching the hidden meaning. He motioned toward the back, saying if the price was right, he had a riper one in storage, and Chu Xuan agreed to follow. The two quietly left the stall and walked into a deserted area behind it. The man cupped his hands respectfully, asking which branch Chu Xuan belonged to. Chu Xuan slowly lifted his hat, revealing his face with a faint smile. "Chu Xuan." The man lit up in shock and joy, introducing himself as Chen Ge, who had entered the sect the same year and always admired Chu Xuan. In his eyes, among all the mediocre outer disciples back then, only Chu Xuan truly stood out. Chen Ge explained that Liu Zhenxiong and the others were hiding inside the Wu family estate in Taiping ward, and news of Chu Xuan killing the traitor He Liang had boosted everyone's morale. Chu Xuan calmly noted that Liu Zhenxiong, direct disciple of the 3rd patriarch, had already reached foundation establishment and wisely hid within Shengong sect's territory. Chen Ge urged him to return and unite with Wuji sect, but Chu Xuan refused, saying he was only here to buy something. Chen Ge sighed in regret and asked what he was looking for. Chu Xuan answered bluntly, "The blood transformation grand formation." Chen Ge's face instantly changed, his body tensing up. That formation was infamous in the demonic path, built for massive blood sacrifices, powerful enough to destroy an entire city, even if controlled by a chi-refining cultivator. A demonic grandmaster once slaughtered 300,000 lives in 100 days, just to refine a myriad soul blood pearl for his son. But in Chu Xuan's mind, if he set this formation on the zombie planet, it would harm no innocents, and might even earn him merit. Seeing his silence, Chen Ge warned that the 5 orthodox sects strictly monitored demonic techniques, but Chu Xuan only smiled and asked where to find it, and Chen Ge finally admitted it was at a secret Wuji sect outpost. Without hesitation, Chu Xuan followed him there, where a Wuji disciple lazily declared he had the formation, but questioned why he should sell it. That arrogant man was Zi Ming, ranked 10th among the inner disciples. From his attitude, Chu Xuan immediately understood their past resource conflict, and that Zi Ming likely wished for his downfall. Chu Xuan simply smiled and said Zi Ming was probably lacking something right now, then opened his pouch before everyone. The crowd gasped at the sight of blood pearls, and Chen Ge stammered about how many lives must have been sacrificed, while Zi Ming estimated at least 1,000 souls. Just then, Yi Hua, ranked 12th among the inner disciples, admitted that gathering so many blood pearls under Shengang Sect's siege proved Chu Xuan's strength surpassed them all. Those words only deepened Zi Ming's jealousy, his envy boiling inside. Zi Ming immediately named his price, Chu Xuan. "Give me 200 blood pearls, and the formation is yours." Chu Xuan replied coldly that he was too greedy, and someone else cut in, saying basic formations only cost around 80 blood pearls. Zi Ming's face stayed icy as he said, only he had this formation among the Wuji survivors, and there was nowhere else to buy it. Chu Xuan's gaze darkened with warning, asking if Zi Ming truly believed his own words. His voice turned sharp, saying the formation was worthless right now, but Zi Ming desperately needed blood pearls, or he would soon suffer cultivation backlash. Under that pressure, Zi Ming faltered and agreed to 80, but Chu Xuan cut him off and said 60. Furious, Zi Ming accused him of forcing the price down, and Chu Xuan calmly put the blood pearls away, saying he would leave. Zi Ming quickly stopped him and asked for more time to think. The air grew heavy as the price kept dropping. In the end, Zi Ming reluctantly gave in, teeth clenched. "Fine, 50. Deal." Chu Xuan handed over the blood pearls, already calculating that he still had plenty left after securing the blood transformation grand formation. Seeing the opportunity, he walked toward Yi Hua. He offered his remaining blood pearls in exchange for spirit stones, and Yi Hua gladly traded 30 low-grade spirit stones for them. After the deal, Chu Xuan calculated that once back on planet Kia, his cultivation speed would rise even faster. As he prepared to leave, Yi Hua called out, asking if he truly would not stay. He reminded him that Liu Zhenjiang was powerful and could provide safety. Chu Xuan smiled and shook his head, knowing that Liu Zhenxiang's strength also made him a prime target for the orthodox sects. Right then, a sharp shout came from outside, telling everyone to stop. Disciples of Shengang sect announced they were ordered to inspect the place for remaining Wuji members. Yi Hua frowned, sensing at least a 7th-layer qi refining aura, and Chen Ge worried the 4 of them together could not win. Chu Xuan weighed his options. Escaping alone was easy, but his fellow disciples would not survive. Suddenly, Zi Ming stepped forward and loudly exposed him as the demonic cultivator Chu Xuan. The moment he finished, he turned and ran, leaving Yi Hua furious. Chu Xuan sighed softly, blaming himself for hesitating earlier, then spoke up. He told Yi Hua and Chen Ge to leave first while he held them off, and Chen Ge anxiously asked if he would face them alone. Chu Xuan calmly ordered them to hurry and warned Liu Zhenxiang to retreat, and before leaving, Yi Hua looked back in gratitude. As the enemies tried to chase, one stopped them, saying Chu Xuan's head was worth more than the others. Another mocked him for risking his life for fellow disciples, but Chu Xuan replied that demonic cultivators were not completely heartless. They laughed and declared that today would be his death day. Chu Xuan only smirked, asking if they were truly sure. In an instant, he summoned the blood goo worm for a surprise attack, forcing his opponent to draw his sword. The goo wrapped tightly around the weapon and quickly spread onto the man's body. He shouted in panic, warning that Chu Xuan's goo was no ordinary one. The 2 behind him rushed forward, yelling for him to die. Chu Xuan chanted and summoned Xiao Hu. In a flash, Xiao Hu appeared and suppressed the enemies. One of them trembled in disbelief, asking how this abandoned man could be so strong. Chu Xuan sneered, saying a demonic cultivator always keeps trump cards. Xiao Hu roared and crushed one man's head, and Chu Xuan stepped toward the last survivor with a cold smile. "Your turn. I hope your storage bag doesn't disappoint me." Back at the Wu family estate, the atmosphere turned tense when the news arrived, and Liu Zhenxiang was stunned to hear Chu Xuan had been left behind. After a long silence, he sighed, saying that even as demonic cultivators, with the sect destroyed, they now shared the same fate, and Chu Xuan deserved their support. Zi Ming still tried to justify himself, saying he had no choice or they would all be wiped out. Liu Zhenjiang cut him off impatiently, sensing a Foundation establishment aura approaching fast. The disciples immediately declared they would stay and fight alongside him. But Liu Zhenjiang shook his head, saying their current strength was useless, and they were the hope of Wuji sect's revival. He ordered them to scatter and regroup at White Mang Mountain, and they all answered in unison. Suddenly, laughter echoed from the sky as an old man mocked. Liu Zhenjiang, so you were hiding here. He sneered that Qinghe City was sealed, and no one would escape. The old man's aura exploded outward, making every disciple's face turn pale. Panic broke out as they fled in all directions. Yihua remembered the warning that the most dangerous place could be the safest, and decided to return to Taiping Ward. Zhu Ming mocked him, asking if he was going back to collect Chu Xuan's corpse, and Chen Ge clenched his fists in anger. When they re-entered Qinghe City, the sight before them stunned everyone. Corpses were scattered everywhere, and Yihua realized they were Shengang sect cultivators. Chen Ge wondered if Chu Xuan did this, but Zhi Ming scoffed, saying it had to be at least 8th layer qi refining. Yihua cut the argument short, warning that the bodies would attract more pursuers, so they had to leave quickly. 5 days later, outside the city at White Mang Mountain, the disciples regrouped, and Chen Ge shouted that Liu Zhenjiang had returned. Liu Zhenjiang looked pale, clutching a serious wound, and Chen Ge rushed to help treat him. Liu Zhenjiang waved it off calmly, saying injuries were inevitable when escaping, but he was surprised they all made it out of the sealed city. Yihua lowered his head and said they were lucky, and even 3 Shengang cultivators had died mysteriously. Liu Zhenjiang was surprised, and guessed a rogue expert might have passed by. As he sat for treatment, he asked about Chu Xuan, but no one knew his whereabouts. Zhi Ming mocked that a 4th layer qi refining cultivator facing 3 enemies would not even leave a corpse, and Chen Ge angrily blamed him. Liu Zhenxiong only sighed, saying Chu Xuan was clever and might not have met disaster. He instructed Yihua to search for Chu Xuan once things calmed down and bring him back if found. Meanwhile, unknown to them, Chu Xuan was quietly satisfied. Inside a remote cave, he counted his spoils: 800 low-grade spirit stones, 2 mid-grade stones, and 2 formations perfect for setting up a cave dwelling. In his hand was a black banner, and his eyes lit up when he realized it was the myriad soul banner. Even Shengang sect secretly refined this infamous demonic treasure, and for Chu Xuan it would be invaluable back on planet Kia. If fueled with zombie souls, the myriad soul banner would become a terrifying trump card. With that thought, he activated the mirror and smiled, saying he was returning to Xiao Runfa. But the moment he arrived, he froze at the sight of nothing but ruins. He frowned deeply, wondering how it turned to this in just 2 months. Zombies could not have done this. It was clearly arson, and he regretted not leaving more yin corpses behind. Seeing the burned supplies, confusion turned into rage as he realized the culprit only wanted destruction. Furious, Chu Xuan summoned Xiao Hu and ordered him to capture someone for questioning. Outside the city, a man and woman knelt before Wang Bao, begging for mercy, but he coldly said they were useless if they knew nothing. He stepped toward the girl with a lewd smile and reached for her face as she screamed in fear. Right at that moment, Xiao Hu appeared behind him. His eyes glowed crimson, killing intent flooding the air. Wang Bao felt his body tremble and slowly turned around. The instant he saw the Kia pair trying to flee, he realized this was a high-level mutated being. Wang Bao collapsed to his knees, begging for mercy. But when he looked closer at Xiao Hu, a strange sense of familiarity hit him, and he stammered, "Tang Hu, how did you become like this?" Yet in Xiao Hu's mind, Wang Bao was nothing but a stranger. A burning force lifted him like cargo, and Wang Bao struggled in panic, asking where he was being taken. Inside the mall, Chu Xuan was already waiting, and Xiao Hu let out a low growl upon returning. Chu Xuan turned casually with a faint smile, praising him for coming back so quickly. He gently patted Xiao Hu's head, leaving Wang Bao frozen in shock, unable to understand how this man controlled Tang Hu. Chu Xuan chuckled softly and asked if he was from Spirit Hound Gang, then calmly guessed they were the ones who burned this place. Wang Bao hesitated and cautiously replied, asking what if it was true. Chu Xuan's expression turned icy, saying he had bothered no one, yet they came looking for trouble. His eyes sharpened as he wondered how many corpse refining materials they could provide, leaving Wang Bao confused. A hint of madness flashed as Chu Xuan activated soul seizing, his voice turning cold as he demanded everything about Spirit Hound Gang. Wang Bao's eyes dulled as he answered mechanically, revealing he was Zhao Hong's close aide, and their base was at Haotai Hotel. He admitted they came looking for old Hu Jie, but burned everything after seeing the horrific scene. Chu Xuan nodded and continued questioning, asking what special abilities Zhao Hong possessed. Sweating in pain, Wang Bao revealed Zhao Hong was a first-year transcendent who raised 3 giant spirit hounds and could fight high-level zombies himself. Sensing his resistance fading, Chu Xuan asked one final question about the murders and arson. Wang Bao suddenly laughed excitedly, boasting that killing was normal in this world, and even his pleasure. Chu Xuan smiled as well, declaring that such perfect corpse refining material would not go to waste. As the control broke, Wang Bao regained awareness and panicked. Before he understood anything, Xiao Hu grabbed him and prepared to throw him into a boiling wooden barrel. Chu Xuan calmly sprinkled strange substances into the thick liquid as Wang Bao's screams echoed before he was forced under. While refining, Chu Xuan muttered that this planet was more interesting than he expected. He realized he needed more intelligence and more zombie materials. Handling everything alone was inefficient, and keeping Spirit Hound Gang might be more useful than wiping them out. After some time, Wang Bao was successfully refined into a mid-grade Yin corpse, a third-level corpse soldier with 2 talents. Chu Xuan nodded in satisfaction and named him Xiao Bao, pairing him with Xiao Hu. Hearing the new name, Xiao Hu immediately showed signs of jealousy. The sight of the 2 massive figures made Chu Xuan laugh helplessly. His eyes soon turned cold, saying it was time to collect the debt. He ordered them to stay sharp and not slack off. At the entrance of Haotai Hotel, several Spirit Hound Gang members were gambling loudly when the door suddenly burst open in a cloud of dust. Chaos instantly spread through the hall. Through the dust walked Chu Xuan, Xiao Hu, and Xiao Bao, and the gang burst out laughing at his strange outfit. "What the hell are you wearing? Is this kid crazy?" Chu Xuan only smirked and said calmly, "From today on, I'm the new boss of Spirit Hound Gang." They roared with laughter, and one thug casually threw a beer bottle at his face. The bottle flew straight at him, but Xiao Hu swung his arm, shattering it mid-air. The display stunned everyone, and once they sensed a high-level zombie aura, fear kicked in. Chu Xuan snorted coldly and ordered Xiao Bao to handle the useless trash. Xiao Bao shot forward like a beast unleashed. He crashed into the crowd like a violent storm. In a blink, he seized one man and sank his teeth deep into him. Blood splashed everywhere as the man's arm was torn clean off. Chu Xuan's icy voice echoed, telling them to call Zhao Hong if they wanted to avoid that fate. The remaining thugs panicked and begged for mercy, promising to call their boss. 2 minutes later, heavy footsteps approached from afar. Zhao Hong arrived with a large group and 3 massive spirit hounds, his presence overwhelming. Chu Xuan sized him up and sensed a different energy, weaker than spiritual power but far beyond normal humans. Zhao Hong frowned and demanded to know who he was. Chu Xuan replied coldly that Xiao Runfa was his territory, and since it was destroyed, he came to collect. Zhao Hong quickly connected the dots, realizing this man likely caused the massacre and could even control zombies. After a brief pause, he softened his tone and offered another mall as compensation. Chu Xuan cut him off, saying half of East Lake City belonged to them, so one building was not enough. Zhao Hong's expression darkened as he activated his ability. He warned Chu Xuan not to push too far, as Spirit Hound Gang would not keep retreating. Chu Xuan answered without hesitation, "I want the entire Spirit Hound Gang." Enraged, Xiao Hong roared and ordered Da Huang, He, and Xiao Bai to tear him apart. Chu Xuan simply smiled and formed hand seals. Golden talisman light wrapped around his body. Da Huang lunged first, but Xiao Hu activated the golden light talisman as well. The backlash shattered Da Huang's fangs instantly. The beast collapsed, howling in pain, and Zhao Hong's face turned pale. Before he could react, Xiao Bao appeared behind him like a ghost. Xiao Hong dragged Da Huang in front of him as a shield. A chilling yin aura filled the air around Chu Xuan. Only then did everyone realize Xiao Bao and Xiao Hu were Wang Bao and Tang Hu, now terrifying corpse soldiers. Xiao Hong hurriedly recalled He and Xiao Bai to protect him. Chu Xuan mocked him, asking if he would keep hiding behind his dogs. The 2 spirit hounds suddenly knelt before Chu Xuan, and he asked the gang whether they would submit or die. Zhao Hong's face twisted as he reached into his coat, declaring no one could steal his spirit hounds. He pulled out a gun and screamed for Chu Xuan to die. Bullets sprayed toward him in rapid succession. Yet Chu Xuan stood completely calm. A layer of blood aura flashed out, reflecting every bullet back. Screams erupted behind Zhao Hong, and his confidence shattered. Chu Xuan looked at him with disdain, asking if that was his final hope. In a flash, a corpse soldier knocked the gun from his hand. Zhao Hong's knees gave out as he begged for his life, offering the gang. Chu Xuan smiled faintly and said he would take both the gang and Zhao Hong's body. Zhao Hong blushed in confusion, stammering that he was not interested in men, but if Chu Xuan insisted. Don't get it wrong, I'm not into that. Once the man fully surrendered, he ordered him tied up and told Xiao Hu to deal with the 2 spirit hounds. The others didn't even wait to hear more, and instantly dropped to their knees, shouting, "Boss." Seeing they knew their place, Chu Xuan gave a faint smile. Smart men survive. Tied up and kneeling, Zhao Hong respectfully explained the origin of the apocalypse, 10 years ago, spiritual energy erupted across Holland Star and reshaped all life. Most humans couldn't handle it. Their genes collapsed, their bodies mutated, and they turned into bloodthirsty monsters. A small number survived and awakened special powers. Based on the spiritual core inside them, they were ranked into 9 levels. They were now in Donghu City, under a centralized monarchy. 2 major forces ruled here, the Spirit Hound Gang and the Black Wind Security Company. After finishing, Zhao Hong stayed kneeling and asked carefully if Chu Xuan had any more questions. He promised full cooperation. After hearing everything, Chu Xuan told Xiao Bao to take him to soak in medicinal liquid. A faint smile curved his lips. The liquid was perfect for body refinement. A few days would unlock full potential, and he could set up the blood transformation array to erase all traces. In the distance, Zhao Hong screamed and begged, but Chu Xuan ignored it and calmly enjoyed his milk tea loaded with toppings. Soon after, a figure tore through the apocalyptic sky. It was Chu Xuan riding his flying sword. His spirit stones could only power the array for half an hour, so he needed a dense zombie swarm. While thinking, he spotted several figures on a rooftop. 2 young men were desperately blocking the door, holding back zombies. An old man trembled while clutching a box. He said firmly, "This is a level 3 spiritual core. Many died to get it. Take it and leave me." A man in a suit refused at once. "Elder Zheng is our commander and top biologist of Linjiang province. Your life matters more. I've sent a distress signal. Black Wind will come." Elder Zheng shook his head. "In this chaos, rescue may never arrive." Just then, the rooftop door gave way and was smashed open by zombies. Roars echoed as waves of zombies rushed in. The encirclement tightened, and the situation turned critical. Suddenly, a streak of swordlight fell from the sky. It cut down the first wave of zombies instantly. The flying sword moved like a ghost and wiped out the rest in seconds. Before the 3 could react, a calm voice sounded behind them. "Quite lively here." They turned to see Chu Xuan floating in midair. After being saved, all 3 expressed deep gratitude and thanked the expert. Chu Xuan landed and pointed at the box in Elder Zheng's hands. "What's inside?" The zombies seemed drawn to it. The 3 grew cautious. Elder Zheng replied that it was a level 3 spiritual core from a zombie bear, vital for life research. Before he finished, Chu Xuan sent out his blood corpse and snatched the box. Elder Zheng panicked and shouted for him not to take it. He explained its importance for anti-zombie weapons and humanity's survival. Opening it, Chu Xuan looked at the green core and felt disappointed. The energy was mediocre, barely equal to a low-grade spirit stone. He tossed it back casually. "Relax. I'm not interested." Elder Zheng was stunned. Then Chu Xuan asked the 2 youths if they were first-order transcendents. They confirmed they were Linjiang soldiers escorting the professor and the core. Black Wind hadn't arrived yet, so they were trapped. They cautiously asked for protection and promised a reward. Hearing Linjiang army, Chu Xuan frowned. In chaotic times, no force was truly reliable. Still, another idea formed. He nodded. "Help me with one thing, and I'll ensure you leave safely." The 3 were overjoyed. They quickly agreed, as long as it didn't violate basic morals. Chu Xuan smiled lightly. "Nothing complicated. Just stay here and attract more zombies." With that, he took out a talisman and slowly walked toward the rooftop door. The stone barrier talisman was slapped onto the door, turning it into a fortress, no matter how hard the zombies slammed it. He turned back calmly. "Relax. The door won't break. Wait here. I'll be back soon." With that, he shot into the sky on his flying sword. Next, he took out the blood transformation array flags and shouted, "Go!" The small flags turned into streaks of light and pierced into the ground around the building. After scanning the area, Chu Xuan nodded in satisfaction. The array perfectly covered the entire ruined complex. With that spiritual core acting as bait, the zombies would gather on their own. Once everything was set, he returned to the rooftop. Looking at the 3, he said casually, "It's all ready." He mentioned taking them out of here, but the 2 soldiers looked uneasy at the blood corpse. Chu Xuan frowned. "Don't trust me?" Elder Zheng stepped forward sincerely. "Well, follow you." He assured the others that if Chu Xuan meant harm, they'd already be dead. Chu Xuan only snorted. Then he bound all 3 with the blood corpse in an instant. In less than a breath, the flying sword carried them into the sky, their shouts echoing behind. About 2.5 minutes later, he landed in a relatively safe zone. After untying them, he waved his hand. "Wait here for rescue. I have things to do." The 3 sighed in relief. Elder Zheng immediately knelt and bowed. "Benefactor, may we know your name?" Chu Xuan coldly left his name behind and turned away. Watching him disappear, Elder Zheng muttered in awe. In his eyes, this was no ordinary transcendent, but a true cultivator. He had to report to Ye Jiangjun. This was a rare chance for Linjiang. Meanwhile, Chu Xuan had already returned to the tower. Floating midair, he chanted softly, "Blood transformation grand array, activate." The entire building began to tremble violently. The zombies inside the array that had been roaring moments ago were drained of life in seconds, leaving only shriveled corpses. Streams of blood energy surged toward him. The efficiency stunned even Chu Xuan. This blood essence was enough to push him to Qi refining level 9. Just as he felt satisfied, he suddenly sensed something strange. Golden lights fell like blooming flowers from the sky. Legendary merit golden blossoms. Only those with great merit should see this. As a demonic cultivator burdened with killing karma, avoiding heavenly punishment was already lucky. Yet this happened. When the golden light entered his body, pure joy spread through him. Merit had descended upon him. His lifespan extended, his mind became clearer, and subtle changes flowed through him. A thought rose in his mind. Was this destiny's blessing? He burst into laughter in mid-air. His eyes burned with excitement. Now he understood why the righteous path always claimed to slay evil. It was all for merit. If he sacrificed tens of thousands, even millions of zombies, the endless merit would boost his lifespan, talent, and fate. The path to becoming a body saint would no longer be far. At the Black Wind security office, a report confirmed Elder Zheng had been safely escorted away. But no matter how they questioned him about the blood-drained corpses, he avoided the topic. The man in the chair calmly mentioned the site near Spirit Hound gang headquarters and ordered them to question Zhao Hong. The subordinate hesitated. The man snorted coldly, reminding him that they had General Lin backing them. Spirit Hound gang meant nothing. Once reinforcements arrived, the entire Eastern District would belong to them. The speaker was Wang Gongjian, leader of Black Wind. The scene shifted to a steaming pot of bone hot pot. The Spirit Hound gang members busily served Chu Xuan and respectfully announced dinner was ready. Looking at the table, Chu Xuan admitted keeping them alive had value. Corpso servants weren't good at delicate tasks, and now that he understood merit, he avoided pointless killing. With a faint smile, he told them to sit and eat together. The words moved them deeply. This new boss felt far more approachable than Zhao Hong. As everyone enjoyed the meal, no one noticed a piece of meat fall to the ground. Hidden inside it was a goo worm. Despite everything, Chu Xuan was still a demonic cultivator. Humans were less trustworthy than zombies, so he used goo worms for control. After dinner, he stepped into another room. Standing before a massive alchemy cauldron, he calculated the timing. The soaking should be enough. Hopefully the result wouldn't disappoint. Come out. Zhao Hong, now an undead corpse, rose from the cauldron. His body had been completely reborn. Stronger structure, far higher quality. At a glance, Chu Xuan sensed his aura far surpassed before. One arm had even evolved into a natural weapon, a corpse hand close to a pre-heaven treasure. Just as Chu Xuan felt pleased, Zhao Hong shot him a resentful glare and let out a savage roar. Chu Xuan didn't care, he said coldly. You dare defy your master? Foolish. His eyes turned crimson. The spell activated as he barked, Kneel. In an instant, Xiao Hong lost all resistance and dropped flat before him. The status panel appeared. High-grade aptitude. Level 3 Corpse General. Innate spells. Golden Light Body Curse Force. Corpse Rainbow Art. Seeing the 7-star corpse mark above him, Chu Xuan smiled in satisfaction. From now on, you are Xiao Long. He sent Xiao Long to follow Xiao Hu and Xiao Bao to learn the rules and what was allowed. At the same time, Black Wind security arrived at the Hatai Hotel. The moment they stepped out, they sensed something was wrong. The Spirit Hound gang's usual noise was gone. The man froze. 3 high-level zombies stood there. Even Zhao Hong's spirit dogs had submitted. Was Zhao Hong dead? With his superior senses, Xiao Long noticed him instantly. Seeing Xiao Long's reaction, the man knew he had been exposed. Xiao Long's eyes turned blood red. Killing intent exploded. The man dropped his binoculars in terror. Just as Xiao Long was about to charge, Xiao Hu stopped him, remembering Chu Xuan's orders. You were all created by me. Your sins count toward my karma and affect my merit. Without my command, no killing. Remember that. Xiao Long had no choice but to let the Black Wind subordinate escape. As he sped away, the man couldn't understand why they didn't chase him. Back to Chu Xuan. He was absorbing surging spiritual energy from the blood bead. After about 2.5 minutes, he suddenly opened his eyes. Spiritual power burst out, shattering the blood beads around him. He stepped into Qi refining level 7. Feeling the transformation, Chu Xuan rubbed his hands in excitement. Below Foundation Establishment, he was now nearly invincible. Time to prepare for breakthrough. He knew that to enter Foundation Establishment, the spiritual energy in his dantian had to compress to the extreme and solidify. Without pills, it was almost impossible. But orthodox Foundation Establishment pills were tightly controlled by righteous sects. As a demonic cultivator, he chose another path. Use powerful living beings to nourish the soul birth flower and refine a blood foundation pill. Weaker effect, lower cost. Before returning to Kongshuan continent, he had prepared spiritual seeds. On this zombie planet, flesh and souls were abundant. Once he reached level 9, he would plant them. While he envisioned the future, on a city street, a pack of wolves attacked humans. The alpha tossed prey into the center of the pack. Then it raised its head and howled under the moon. More than a month passed quietly. Chu Xuan looked at his three subordinates in surprise. A giant wolf pack ambushed you on the highway? Xiao Hu snorted in response. Instead of anger, Chu Xuan grew interested. Xiao Hu and Xiao Bao were already level 7. Xiao Long had reached level 8. If wolves dared ambush them, they were extraordinary, perfect soil for the soul birth flower. With that thought, he stood up and stored the 3 inside his tower. I've just broken through Qi refining level 9. A little fresh air sounds good. 2.5 minutes later, he arrived. This is the place? Xiao Hu confirmed. Seeing corpses scattered across the ground, Chu Xuan recognized them as General Yes escort team. Even first-order transcendents had died. These wolves were not simple. Before he could think further, a sound came from behind. It was a baby crying. He immediately turned and moved toward it. But the moment he stepped forward, a green flame formed in his palm. In the next second, he hurled it straight at the baby. After the explosion, a wolf claw fell to the ground before him. Seeing that, Chu Xuan sneered. Even General Yes transcendents died here. How could a baby survive and cry so loudly? Pity works on normal people. Too bad they met a heartless demonic cultivator. The moment he finished speaking, a pack of giant wolves burst out from the smoke. Chu Xuan immediately activated the corpse-nourishing tower and summoned Xiao Hu, Xiao Bao, and Xiao Long. Right then, behind the pack, a black wolf with a single horn stepped forward slowly, radiating brutal pressure. One glance was enough. Chu Xuan confirmed it. This was the Wolf King, a second-order transcendent. The Wolf King raised its head and let out a long howl. At the signal, the entire pack charged. Chu Xuan calmly ordered, "Leave the transcendent wolf to me. The rest are yours." The command dropped and Xiao Long, Xiao Hu, and Xiao Bao rushed into battle. The battlefield split. Chu Xuan stood alone against the Wolf King. Without hesitation, the Wolf King lunged to bite him. Every attack was dodged with ease. Chu Xuan even commented calmly, "Good teeth, strong bones, acceptable." The Wolf King's eyes filled with killing intent, saliva dripping. Chu Xuan remained relaxed. His right hand began to glow crimson. In the next instant, a streak of blood energy blasted into the Wolf King's jaw. The impact sent it flying over 100 meters, knocking it unconscious. Chu Xuan observed calmly, survived one hit, decent resilience, passable. He glanced at the other side. The fight was already over. The wolf pack was wiped out. He ordered all corpses taken back to the hotel. Not long after they left, an armored vehicle sped toward the scene. When the people inside arrived, they froze. The vehicles, supplies, and General Yes men were all gone. Captain Zhenon stayed calm. "My wood spirit ability lets me communicate with plants. Well, find clues." He placed his hand on a nearby tree. Instantly, the battle replayed in his mind. 1 man, 3 zombies, and a wolf pack fought here. In the end, the man left unharmed. The wolves suffered heavy losses. What shocked him most was that even the second-order Wolf King couldn't stop that person. A team member analyzed in a low voice. "We've been in Donghu City long enough. There are no third-order transcendents here. Fourth order is impossible. Too resource-heavy for a lone fighter." He patted the captain's shoulder. "This place runs deep. First high-level zombies, now a mysterious expert. But for now, we recover our brothers' bodies." Even so, the captain couldn't erase the image of that mysterious man. Maybe he wasn't just a transcendent. Cut back to Chu Xuan. He formed hand seals and whispered, "Activate." A golden ripple spread from beneath his feet. He clapped once. The mist array and spirit gathering array are complete. An illusion covers the outside. Inside, spiritual energy is rich. This is now a blessed land. Farm and raise livestock in peace. The subordinates were thrilled. "Boss is amazing. Since the apocalypse, we've struggled for scraps. Now we can be self-sufficient, and your food is even more nutritious than before." Seeing everything stable, Chu Xuan left in peace. Let Ling Xuan Gong handle food production. I'll focus on the demonic path. Entering a room, he looked at the giant wolf bound by vines. "Soul birth, flower. My foundation establishment depends on you." Not long after, Chu Xuan returned to Qinghe City on Kangxuan continent. Walking through the streets, he calculated. The soul birth flower was planted in Hainan. Once blood energy recovered, it would grow. This time, he needed a demonic technique suited for the banner of Qizhu. That meant finding a disciple of Wuji sect and using his connection with Lu Zhenxiang. The thought formed, and Chu Xuan activated his heavenly ear to scan the area. In a hidden corner, someone whispered to Wei Hua, "Senior brother Wei, Zhang Cheng will definitely come back for me." Worried Hez already sided with the Wu family of Shengong sect. Wei Hua nodded. "Then we act carefully. One clean deal, no loose ends." Hearing that conversation, Chu Xuan sighed. Being careful isn't enough. Even if Zhang Cheng didn't betray them, he could be tracked. Better stay away. Right then, a cloth bundle suddenly dropped from the sky. It rolled open in the street. A human head fell out. The crowd panicked. A man with 2 long swords on his back shouted, "Everyone step aside." A citizen angrily demanded, "Who are you to act so brutally in broad daylight?" The man sneered, "I am Ouyang Hao, 4th inner disciple of Shungang sect, ordered to hunt down Wuji sect remnants. That head belongs to the demonic cultivator Zhang Cheng." The crowd instantly lowered their heads and apologized. But Ouyang Hao still swung his sword and cut off the man's arms. "Fool, immerciful to spare your life." In the chaos, Chen Ge and Wei Hua tried to slip away, but Ouyang Hao's cold gaze locked onto them. As expected, more Wuji rats. "Don't even think about running." He immediately gave chase. After he left, whispers filled the city. Ouyang Hao was a rising genius of Shungang sect, soon to become a core disciple, ruthless toward demonic cultivators. He had already killed 3 top 10 Wuji inner disciples. At such a young age, he was already Qi refining level 9. Hearing this, Chu Xuan smiled inwardly. A sect genius like that was prime prey. Outside the city, Chen Ge and Wei Hua were fleeing. Suddenly, Ouyang Hao pointed forward and shouted, "Wuji scum, die." His spirit sword finger shot straight at Wei Hua. Both of them cried out, "This is bad." But in the next second, countless sword energies were blocked by a crimson barrier. From within the shield, a figure stepped forward and stood before them. Ouyang Hao was surprised his attack was stopped. "Not bad. Which Wuji trash are you?" The man smiled eerily. "Forgot me already. I am Zhang Cheng. I died with resentment and came back for your life." Chen Ge and Wei Hua were stunned. "Zhang Cheng? Impossible." But the man urged them, "Go. Why are you still standing there?" Ouyang Hao sneered, "Nice act. You demonic cultivators love these tricks. But you let my prey escape. If you don't satisfy me, it'll make you wish you were dead." As he spoke, 3 figures appeared behind Chu Xuan, Xiao Long, Xiao Hu, and Xiao Bao. Chu Xuan laughed. "You're the prey." Ouyang Hao showed no fear. "Shungang sword cultivators cut through anything. 3 mere corpse servants think they can trap me? Dream on." He dashed past them and slashed directly at Chu Xuan. At that moment, a streak of blood energy shot from Chu Xuan's hand. It wrapped tightly around Ouyang Hao's sword. He froze. His blade couldn't cut through it. Had this corpse technique evolved? Before he could think further, Chu Xuan shouted, "Blood-binding art." Instantly, the blood energy tightened and restrained him. Yet Ouyang Hao laughed coldly. "Shungang's secret art activate." Golden light burst from his body and shattered the binding. He glared at Chu Xuan with killing intent. "Your tricks end here. Take my strongest strike." Chu Xuan grew even more excited. "That's your trump card? Not bad. I need someone worthy to test my cultivation." Ouyang Hao charged and unleashed the Shungang Absolute Sword Finger. Chu Xuan calmly called out Xiao Long. Xiao Long rushed forward at once. The two collided head-on, unleashing their ultimate moves. When Ouyang Hao fell to the ground, he stood frozen. A massive hole gaped in his chest. Unable to believe it, he gasped his last words. "Who are you?" Chu Xuan removed his mask and smiled faintly. "So this is the level of a righteous genius." Meanwhile, Wei Hua and Chen Ge reached safety. After calming down, Wei Hua analyzed. Disguise technique. Blood corpse. That must be Chu Xuan. Chen Ge couldn't hide his excitement. "Senior brother Chu saved us twice." Liu Zhenxiang said sternly, "Such a disciple must not fall. Where did you meet Ouyang Hao? Take me there now." Before he finished, a familiar voice spoke. "No need." They turned around. Chu Xuan stood there holding Ouyang Hao's head. Wuji sect Qi refining disciple. Chu Xuan greets Marshal Uncle Liu. Tran Ka instantly shouts, "Senior brother Chu, are you okay? Thank goodness you're safe." Wei Hua stares at the object in his hand and nearly screams. It's Ouyang Hao's head. Chu Xuan calmly says he just avenged Zhang Cheng. Even Liu Zhenxiang is shocked. Back when the sect fell, Chu Xuan was only at Qi refining level 4. Now he killed Ouyang Hao. Has he reached level 9? Wei Hua and Transa freeze in disbelief. Level 9? Liu Zhenxiang laughs in excitement. He says Wuji sect still has a genius. He tells Chu Xuan to stay, and promises to help him break through to Foundation establishment. But Chu Xuan refuses. He thanks his uncle, but says he wants to break through on his own. In truth, his secret forces him to keep traveling to Halen Star and avoid attention. Seeing their confusion, Chu Xuan sighs and says resources here are already scarce. He can't let everyone sacrifice for him. Transa and Wei Hua are deeply moved by his words. Even Liu Zhenxiang praises him. He says if the sect still stood, a talent like this would never wander outside. He pats Chu Xuan's shoulder and tells him to ask for help anytime. Once trust is secured, Chu Xuan states his real goal. He wants a Foundation establishment technique and asks about the Blood Fiend Demon Scripture. Liu Zhenxiang offers it for 500 blood beads with a copy of the technique. Chu Xuan knows this price is already special treatment. Chu Xuan pretends to be short on funds. He says he only has a little over 300 blood beads, plus some loot from Ouyang Hao. Liu Zhenxiang cuts him off and says he planned to give it for free anyway. Chu Xuan suddenly feels guilty. Those resources were meant for other disciples. He quickly expresses his gratitude. Liu Zhenxiang hands over the technique and gives careful instructions. Chu Xuan bows respectfully and leaves. On the way back, Chu Xuan reflects. Even a demonic sect like Wuji sect has someone like Liu Zhenxiang's. He wonders if the world can tolerate such a person. Meanwhile, Liu Zhenxiang gathers the disciples and distributes blood beads. Ziming is shocked and asks where they came from. The answer is simple. Chu Xuan brought them back. Zhu Ming is stunned that Chu Xuan is alive. Wei Hua adds that he's not just alive. He reached Qi refining level 9 and even killed Ouyang Hao. Hearing this, Ziming recalls the previous incident. He suspects Chu Xuan was behind it, but can't understand how his strength grew so fast. Seeing him confused, Wei Hua teases him. Transha joins in, forcing Ziming to awkwardly respond. On the surface, he plays along, but inside he's uneasy. Chu Xuan must have found a huge opportunity and is hiding a secret. That thought only makes him more restless. Back on Halen Star, inside a room at Hao Tai Hotel, space suddenly twists. Chu Xuan appears. His spirit beasts immediately rush to him. Hearing the noise, his subordinates hurry in and report everything is stable. The spirit field has also been harvested. Chu Xuan nods. With patrols and formations in place, this base remains safe. But what he truly cares about is the soul birth flower. When he opens the cultivation room, thick spiritual energy pours out. The sight shocks him. The number of soul birth flowers far exceeds expectations, enough to refine 3 foundation establishment blood pills. He slowly steps inside, his gaze turning deep. Looking at the dying Wolf King beside them, he begins to calculate. The Wolf King's strong body kept the plan running until now. Now that the medicine is ready, its life has reached the end. Without hesitation, he harvests the soul birth flowers and kills the Wolf King. For a demonic cultivator, resources matter more than talent. Just 1 foundation establishment blood pill can raise the breakthrough success rate by 30%. Soon, 3 blood pills are successfully refined. Seeing the pills in his hand, he smiles slightly. Adding the orthodox foundation establishment pill from Ouyang Hao, he now has 4 chances. With everything prepared, he begins immediately. He swallows the foundation establishment pill. Then he circulates his technique to break through. But before long, he has to consume a blood pill as well. Sweat pours down. 1 pill alone isn't enough to fully transform his spiritual power. After swallowing the blood pill, he roars, "Foundation establishment blood pill, refined for me." The golden-red aura around him grows thicker and heavier. But mid-meditation, his eyes snap open. His expression changes. Chu Xuan realizes he's been dragged into a strange space. Before he can react, a voice echoes behind him. "Chu Xuan, you are a ruthless demonic cultivator. I won't let you break through." The voice belongs to the dead Wolf King. Chu Xuan instantly understands. This is a heart demon illusion. The Wolf King lunges at him, while blood light gathers in Chu Xuan's palm. He fires 2 blasts of nether flame, straight at the shadow. He already knew the blood pill was flawed. It mimics orthodox pills, but it's a patchwork demonic product filled with resentment, easily triggering heart demons. But after repeated attacks, he notices the heart demon doesn't weaken. It keeps multiplying and growing larger. Just as his will starts to waver, the Wolf King sneers. Chu Xuan stops struggling. The tone drips with contempt. "With your mediocre talent and no backing, you couldn't even reach the gates of Shenggang sect. How dare you dream of foundation establishment? The meaning is clear. Accept your fate. Cultivate step by step. Stop dreaming big." Hearing this, Chu Xuan's eyes flash with insight. "So you want to debate the Tao with me?" He shouts back. "The heavens are indifferent. The righteous path hoards all resources. If I followed them, it'd stay a nobody forever. The demonic path gives me another sky." The Wolf King slashes forward in disdain. Chu Xuan remains calm. Demonic cultivators seize the essence of heaven and earth and absorb the life of all beings. If heaven won't give me a chance, I'll carve a bloody road and walk against fate over countless corpses. And now I hold a planet full of resources. My destiny is mine to change. As his words end, the Wolf King shatters into fragments. But at that moment, a pair of soft hands appears behind him. A woman whispers gently in his ear, "Chu Xuan, you're not truly evil. Remember when you first stepped onto this path. You were cornered after transmigrating. You fought desperately for power. Now you stand at the top of Donghu City. No one threatens you. Power, wealth, beauty, you have it all. Stop now and enjoy life." Chu Xuan smiles faintly. "Impressive illusion. I thought my will was firm, yet you dug up so many excuses. But you're just stalling, waiting for the pill's power to fade." Exposed, the woman's eyes turn icy. Chu Xuan calmly takes out 2 more blood pills and smiles. "Too bad, you miscalculated. This ends in your failure." He swallows both pills at once. The heart demon screams in shock. "Are you insane? 2 blood pills at once? The resentment will only make me stronger. You'll die in agony." Blood flames erupt around Chu Xuan. His gaze turns cold. "You're wrong. I don't need to waste time." In an instant, streams of bloodlight explode from his body. Crimson rays tear through space and shoot out the windows. At Haotai Hotel, everyone in the courtyard freezes in shock. A massive pillar of red light blasts into the sky. Even the surrounding zombies are stirred by the phenomenon. In another building, 2 security guards stare out the window. Is that a sign of a zombie tide? If a zombie tide forms, everything in its path becomes disaster. Even a level 3 transcendent might not survive. Check it now and report immediately if it's real. Inside the hotel, Chuxuan slowly stands up. He has stepped into first-layer foundation establishment. Power floods his body. His lifespan increases by 100 years. He officially enters the transcendent realm. He can now fly without external aid and refine a natal magic artifact fused with his soul. In the Blood Fiend Demon scripture, the best choice is the Soul Slaughter Chain. It can strike souls directly and command slaughter souls in battle. It requires steel as the base, white bone bamboo, cloud silk, and other materials, fused with a powerful soul and refined for 36 days straight. But to forge it, he needs a key material called Killing Gang. It forms when refined diamond is left in dense yin, killing energy for years. Simple in theory, nearly impossible in practice, since those zones on Kangjuan continent are tightly controlled by the righteous sects. Creating a yin killing field on Hylon Star would require tens of thousands of zombies gathered together, using their flesh and blood as sacrifice. But zombies usually roam alone, making them hard to group. Then an idea flashes through Chu Xuan's mind. Special zombies are drawn to the core energy of powerful creatures. If he kills a few transcendent beasts and uses their cores as bait, he can lure massive numbers of zombies. Then he can set up a formation to condense Killing Gang and naturally forge his natal artifact. As night falls, a figure dashes through the zombie horde at extreme speed, instantly drawing their attention. It's Xiao Bao, holding an energy core, moving like lightning. The sight leaves nearby survivors, holding their breath, afraid to make a sound. Above them, Chu Xuan stands on a giant sword, surveying the area. The zombies have nearly reached 10,000. Now he just needs the right spot to bury the Killing Gang and set the formation. While calculating, his eyes suddenly lock onto a fat man fleeing below. A trace of annoyance rises. If this guy gets involved and affects his merit, it'll be troublesome. The fat man reaches a gathering point where a squad waits. The captain immediately asks for a report. Panting hard, Tang Jinchuan reports 5 high-level zombies and clear signs of a zombie tide. He also saw several level 1 spirit beast corpses devoured. The captain's face turns grim. If the zombie tide forces spirit beasts into a beast tide, Donghu City is finished. Suddenly, a scream erupts behind them. A mutated spider bites a man's neck. Tang Jinchuan instantly summons his weapon and activates his fat control ability. A golden spear forms and shoots straight at the spider. But after dying, the spider melts into green liquid, corroding the victim's body completely. The captain can only shake his head. Tang Jinchuan notices thick spider webs all around them. The danger isn't over. From a nearby building, dozens of spiders swarm out. The group curses in panic, realizing it's a nest, and tries to retreat. But the moment they turn, webs bind them from behind. Following the silk upward, they see a level 3 mother spider on the rooftop, flanked by 2 others, eyes full of killing intent. It sprays even more webbing, tightening the trap. One man desperately hacks at the silk with a blade, but it's useless. The web is unbelievably tough. Despair sets in as the smaller spiders close in. Just when death seems certain, a streak of red light descends from the sky and slices through all the webs. Everyone freezes. Even level 3 webbing was cut so easily. Before they recover, a figure descends from the air, standing on a giant sword, white robes fluttering like a sword immortal. The squad stares in shock, guessing has a transcendent sword cultivator. But Chu Xuan ignores them completely. His gaze stays on the spiders. A flicker of satisfaction crosses his eyes. A level 3 beast core is far more attractive than low-level ones. The mother spider screeches and orders an attack. Chu Xuan only lets out a cold laugh, as if watching a joke. He summons the corpse control tower and says calmly, "Handle it." Xiao Long, Xiao Hu, and Xiao Bao charge in, slaughtering the spiders brutally. The Black Wind security guards are stunned. He can control zombies. Tang Jinchuan suddenly realizes those 3 zombies are the leaders of the zombie tide. Everything was orchestrated by him. The mother spider gathers all her strength and launches her strongest strike at Chu Xuan. Chu Xuan simply lifts one finger and condenses a sphere of nether flame, then flicks it forward. The moment it touches the web, flames spread like a tidal wave and burn everything down. The mother spider panics and tries to flee, but Chu Xuan casually waves his hand. The flames surge even fiercer. In moments, the entire spider swarm turns to ash. When the fire fades, the mother spider's corpse reveals 3 beast cores and a special mass of silk. Chu Xuan examines the silk with satisfaction. After nether flame refinement, its hardness increases greatly, perfect for forging the soul slaughter chain. After collecting everything, he gives the beast cores to Xiao Hu and continues using them as bait to lure more zombies. Only then does Chu Xuan turn his gaze toward the Black Wind security team. A chill runs down their spines. They fear being silenced. But Chu Xuan calmly asks, "You're from Black Wind Security?" They immediately bow and thank him, calling him immortal. Hez slightly surprised, but finds it convenient. His tone turns cold. "Leave now. Tell your people not to approach within 10,000 meters, otherwise." Before he even finishes, they scatter in panic, swearing never to disturb him again. Once they're gone, Chu Xuan looks at the skyscraper ahead. The spider lair gathers intense killing energy, perfect as the core for the yin-killing soul-seizing formation. The plan is set. After returning, Tang Jinxuan reports everything to Wang Gongjian. Hez shocked such a powerful figure appeared in Donghu City. When he hears about zombie control, old memories surface, linking it to the highway incident before. The subordinates agree. It's likely the same person. That means a high-level transcendent has been operating in the city all along. Wang Gongjian's expression turns heavy. He can't relax without knowing the man's true purpose. Tang Jinxuan feels it's unbelievable. Destroying a whole city sounds like fiction. Wang Yong speaks up, defending Chu Xuan because he once saved him. Even so, Wang Gongjian decides to verify it himself. Wang Yong quickly tries to stop him, worried about the danger. But Wang Gongjian shakes his head. As leader, he knows his responsibility. For everyone's safety, he must step forward. He even hopes to persuade Chu Xuan to lead the zombie tide away from the city. In the worst case, he's ready to sacrifice himself to buy time. When he arrives, Wang Gongjian personally drives to the site. The moment he steps out, he senses thick fog covering the area. Something feels wrong. He tries using the radio, but it's completely dead. The silence is unsettling. Despite countless zombies gathered here, the place is eerily quiet. Just as he hesitates, a cold voice echoes from above. He looks up in shock. In the sky, a figure stands on a giant sword. The pressure alone makes him shiver. Facing that aura, Wang Gongjian stays calm and explains he came to check the zombie tide threat. Chu Xuan merely snorts and signals him to see for himself. A beam of bloodlight shoots into the sky, illuminating the entire area. Before him stands a mountain of zombie corpses, killing intent rolling like waves. Chu Xuan's calm voice states that any creature stepping inside will die. The rest is his decision. On the way back, the moment Wang Gongjian exits the fog, communication signals return. Facing urgent questions from Wang Yong, he takes a deep breath and reassures them. The zombie tide is no longer a threat. In fact, the area may become safer. 2 days later, Chu Xuan looks at the corpse mountain and knows it's time to harvest. He commands the bloodsteel corpse to dive underground. In an instant, a chunk of black ore is pulled up. A satisfied smile appears. The pure yin killing gang formed from tens of thousands of corpses is finally complete. But the moment it's done, the sky suddenly darkens. Thunderclouds carrying golden killing energy begin to gather. Lightning flashes endlessly, pressure spreading everywhere. Gradually, golden light forms dragon and phoenix shapes in the sky. Even Chu Xuan is stunned. The phenomenon far surpasses the last time. Golden rain falls, strengthening his soul and clearing all cultivation bottlenecks. Even his corpse control ability grows stronger, something rare at Foundation establishment. He realizes slaughtering tens of thousands brought golden merit rain, granting him an unexpected breakthrough. Excited, he reaches out to touch the falling golden light. As it spreads, the surrounding plants are nourished. Spiritual energy begins to grow. A thought crosses his mind. One day, this place may produce spiritual plants or even transcendent life forms. 3 months pass. Sitting inside his formation room, Chu Xuan looks at the treasure before him. The soul slaughter chain is finally complete. This refinement goes smoother than expected. It feels like his luck is boosted by accumulated merit. He casually swings the chain. A violent explosion erupts behind him, shocking his subordinates. Looking at the artifact in his hand, Chu Xuan feels deeply satisfied. A natal artifact he forged himself far surpasses ordinary magic tools. Next step, cultivate Foundation establishment spells. The Blood Fiend Demon Scripture has 9 layers, matching Foundation establishment levels 1 through 9. Each breakthrough grants 1 yin killing spell from the 7 Foundation arts. Their base power isn't insane, but they can burn yin killing energy to amplify strength. For most demonic cultivators, that trait is useless since yin killing zones are controlled by the righteous sects. But Chu Xuan is different, has overflowing with it. He still has 20 bottles of top-grade yin killing energy. He lines them up neatly on the floor. With one circulation of his technique, all of it is absorbed. Power surges through his body and spills outward. He smiles, already planning to accelerate his cultivation. At the same time, inside a meeting room in Longjiang City of Linjiang Province, a silver-haired general walks in and everyone stands at once. After greetings, he signals them to sit. This man is Yi Nantian, Supreme Commander of the Linjiang Legion. He announces a giant aquatic creature has appeared in the Longjiang River. Footage shows it over 30 meters long. A cargo ship was attacked. All 30 crew members died. The room erupts in shock. Many conclude it's at least a level 3 Heidegger transcendent, not something easily handled. Yi Nantian orders that no matter the cost, they must intimidate it and prevent it from nearing their territory. A gray-haired professor suggests seeking the Cultivator from Dongsu City mentioned before, but the idea is dismissed. No individual can compare to an army, and that person's whereabouts are unknown. Meanwhile, Chushuan has already returned to Kangshuan continent. In a tea house in Qinghe City, a waiter brings him tea. Casually, Chushuan asks about changes since his last visit. The waiter lowers his voice. The Wu family was implicated for sheltering Wuji sect remnants. Their assets were seized. The tea house changed owners. Chushuan quietly reflects on the risk of gathering too many people. He pretends to be fearful, acting wary of demonic cultivators. The waiter reassures him. The remnants were forced into the Yunwu mountain range. The city is safe now. Chushuan smiles lightly, tips him, and leaves. In his calculation, the hunted side has only one foundation establishment cultivator. The pursuers have no golden core. Perfect timing, especially since the soul slaughter chain needs a foundation establishment soul to reach peak power. The idea of waiting and reaping the final reward becomes clear. Soon he enters the Yunwu mountain range. Before going far, a cold voice orders him to stop. 4 cultivators descend from the air and block his path. Inside, Chushuan feels amused. Outside, he looks panicked, pretending confusion. They claim to be disciples of Shengong sect hunting demonic cultivators and demand his identity. He says he's just a rogue cultivator hunting beasts. They don't buy it. They accuse him of disguising himself as a demonic cultivator and order his execution. Surrounded, Chushuan appears stunned, then shouts back, "On what grounds do you condemn me with just a few words and you call yourselves righteous?" The leader sneers. "Whether you're demonic or not, doesn't matter. Your head equals contribution points. We've killed 8 like you already. You're next." The moment they move, yin-killing true chi surges inside Chushuan. His figure vanishes into thin air. The soul slaughter chain whips out, leaving a blazing red streak across the sky. In a blink, all 4 Shengong sect disciples are beheaded. Their corpses hit the ground. They were lucky to finally meet a real demonic cultivator. Once it was over, he used soul seizing and collected every single soul. The chi-refining souls fed the 10,000 soul banner, while the foundation establishment soul needed quiet refining. 1 month later, another soul explosion erupted inside Chushuan's natal artifact. He held his head in frustration and muttered, "Failed again, so you couldn't make it either." In that month, he killed many cultivators. The banner grew stronger, but none qualified to become a killing soul. The killing soul seal was just too picky. He realized he needed a stronger foundation establishment cultivator and reclaim the killing soul seal. Just as he was thinking, sounds of battle echoed outside. Looking over, he saw a whiter-bed Taoist chasing Liu Zhenxiang, shouting that Liu killed his junior and 2 foundation cultivators of Shengong sect. Knowing he couldn't escape, Liu Zhenxiang turned back and roared, "Kill me if you want, but don't frame me." The moment he finished, he coughed violently and spat out blood. Seeing Liu barely able to stand, Taoist's son sneered, saying Liu was badly wounded and out of pills, and today he would die. But before he finished speaking, the killing soul seal appeared silently in front of him. Sun instantly activated his defense. Yet in a blink, the seal shattered his protection completely. Both man and shield were blasted away. Gritting his teeth, he tried to steady himself, when a massive blood-colored beast descended from the sky. He was crushed to the ground, unable to resist. It was the Yin-Fiend giant elephant, Chushuan's new move. Liu Zhenxiang watched in extreme shock, completely stunned. Staring at Chushuan, he gasped, "Have you already reached foundation establishment?" Earlier, Sun had roared and unleashed his full power, casting the divine steel sword art. Countless sword phantoms formed in the void and shot toward Chushuan. Liu Zhenxiang turned pale, thinking Sun had years of foundation, while Chushuan had just broken through. Sun glared with hatred, saying letting Chushuan escape before was a huge mistake. Killing intent surged as he attacked before Chushuan could stabilize his realm. Yet within the storm of sword energy, Chushuan only smiled calmly. The next second, his body turned into purple smoke and vanished. Not good, it's an escape technique. Sun quickly set up a sword formation to defend. But just as he prepared, an explosion rang out, and the killing soul seal pierced through him from behind, splitting head and body. Before he even understood what happened, his life ended instantly. Chushuan held his head in hand, eyes filled with satisfaction. After finishing, he took the man's soul as well. Feeling its purity far beyond the others, he judged it might become a true killing soul. Liu Zhenxiang hurried over in disbelief, asking if Chu Xuan had really won when he was only at the 9th layer before. Chu Xuan calmly said he obtained a foundation establishment pill from Ouyang Xiang and broke through, leaving Liu shocked by his speed. Then Liu recalled Sun accusing him of killing his junior, but Chu Xuan casually admitted he did it. Liu was stunned, saying Chu Xuan was extraordinary and might even become a direct disciple if introduced to the ancestor. Hearing that, Chu Xuan grew serious and asked if there was news about the Golden Core ancestor. Liu nodded and said yes, but this was not the place to talk. Back at the Wuji sect hideout, everyone cheered when Liu returned alive. Soon their eyes shifted to Chu Xuan behind him. Wei Hua and Chen Gei rushed over excitedly, asking if junior brother Chu was safe from Shengang sect. Liu then announced that Chu Xuan had reached Foundation Establishment, killed Sun, and from now on everyone must address him as Martial Uncle. Hearing that, the disciples cupped their fists and respectfully congratulated Martial Uncle Chu. Chu Xuan smirked and looked at one man, Xu Ming. You don't have to force it. Xu Ming's face turned pale as he stammered in panic. Before he could finish, the killing soul seal appeared in Chu Xuan's hand, and his voice turned cold. I don't keep traitors. The seal dropped from above and pierced straight through Xu Ming's head. The sudden strike left every disciple frozen in shock. Even Liu Zhenxiang was stunned and asked what was going on. Chen Ge cut in firmly, saying Xu Ming had exposed Chu Xuan's identity to Shengang sect before, and sparing him this long was already mercy. Only then did Liu Zhenxiang understand and sigh, while Chu Xuan calmly replied that it was nothing. In Chu Xuan's eyes, anyone who betrayed him once could betray again, and such people deserved punishment. The disciples fell silent, faces pale, not daring to speak. Chu Xuan then softened his tone and said he brought good news. Over 100 blood beads taken from Shengang sect corpses as rewards. The disciples were overjoyed and thanked him, while a voice nearby praised his balance of authority and generosity. Chu Xuan asked who spoke, and Liu Zhenxiang introduced him as Guest Wu, honored by the Wu family head. Guest Wu had risked his life to gather news about the ancestor, and was now recovering here, earning Chu Xuan's respect. Wu responded modestly but secretly stayed wary, sensing Chu Xuan was not someone to provoke. Chu Xuan then asked directly about news of their sect's ancestor. Wu revealed the Golden Core ancestor Wan Wuying was imprisoned at Cloud Mist Manor by Shengang sect. Liu Zhenxiang explained Shengang sect pretended to be righteous, but used Wan Wuying's special blood to raise fierce ghosts and refine sword chi for a nascent soul breakthrough. Hearing this, Chu Xuan felt deep disgust toward their so-called righteous path. Liu added that only 4 Foundation cultivators guarded the manor, and the sect master came once a month for blood, so there was still a chance to rescue him. Chu Xuan analyzed the odds, and saw they were outnumbered, unless they had another ally. Liu revealed they did have one more helper. It was Li Xuanyue, 3rd layer Foundation establishment, the sect's top genius and greatest hope for Golden Core. Liu Zhenxiang suddenly knelt before Chu Xuan and begged for his help. Chu Xuan quickly helped him up, but was already calculating the long-term benefits for his own path. After a brief pause, he agreed firmly, saying he would not refuse even if it meant entering danger. The group then headed to Cloud Mist Manor and saw Li Xuanyue surveying the terrain. Her gaze swept over the group beside Liu Zhenxiang. It stopped on Chu Xuan as she nodded slightly, saying that breaking into Foundation establishment in such times was no simple feat. Li Xuanyue handed Chu Xuan a formation-breaking disc and warned that a grand array above suppressed demonic qi, assigning him to break it from outside. Chu Xuan saw the advantage, avoiding direct clashes while keeping flexibility, and agreed calmly. Li Xuanyue then assigned targets. She would handle 2 Foundation cultivators inside, and the remaining 2 were left to them. The moment they entered, a thunderous explosion erupted and flames shot into the sky. Angry shouts followed as both sides clashed, while Chu Xuan quietly studied the formation disc. He summoned Xiaolong, Xiaohu, and Xiaobao. The 3 yin corpses charged ahead while he conserved his spiritual energy. On Liu Zhenxiang's side, the battle turned intense. But with their combined strength, they managed to hold the line. Soon Liu shouted that the formation was broken, and Li Xuanyue nodded, impressed by Chu Xuan's speed. As they moved to finish an enemy, a disciple inside suddenly cried for help. A golden blade burst from the wall, accompanied by a cold reprimand for ruining the plan. Li Xuanyue dodged in time, but her arm was still wounded. The golden blade spun back like a returning weapon. It landed in the hand of a tall monk who smiled coldly and greeted her again. Chu Xuan recognized him at once, Hui Kong of Jinlong Temple, a famed genius who had often overpowered Li Xuanyue. Li Xuanyue's face turned icy as she accused Jinlong Temple of colluding with Shengang sect. Hui Kong dismissed it calmly, claiming he was here to slay demons and that Wuji sect deserved destruction. Without hesitation, he unleashed 3 powerful treasures. In moments, Li Xuanyue's group was trapped. All 3 were struck, Li Xuanyue and Liu Zhenjiang restrained, while Wu Ke lost an arm. Li Xuanyue realized they had been baited into exhausting themselves before the trap was sprung. With no choice, she released her natal treasure, the Black Wind Banner, and shouted for a breakthrough. Hui Kong refused to let her escape as golden light flared behind him. The golden light exploded, filling the air with smoke and dust. The shockwave shattered Li Xuanyue's treasure. She crashed to the ground, gravely injured and unable to move. Hui Kong stepped forward cruelly, raising his golden blade for the kill. On the ground, Li Xuanyue realized he had mastered a hidden trump card. Though unwilling, she knew she could no longer resist. At that instant, a streak of blood light flashed behind Hui Kong. Sensing danger, he activated his defensive treasure. But the killing soul seal pierced through it effortlessly. In the sky, Chu Xuan calmly retrieved his artifact, stunning Li Xuanyu. At the brink of death, his sudden dominance shook her deeply. Hui Kong's face changed as he glared at Chu Xuan and demanded to know who he was. Chu Xuan gave no answer and directly unleashed the Yin Fiend demonic claw. As he closed in, Hui Kong dodged with disdain, mocking the slow attack. Before the laughter faded, Chu Xuan roared and detonated his Yin Fiend energy. Blood light surged and engulfed Hui Kong instantly. Caught off guard, he was crushed by overwhelming force, blood spraying as he cried out in shock. The sudden reversal made Li Xuanyue admire Chu Xuan's precise calculation, while Liu Zhenxiong wondered just how much Yin Fiend energy he possessed. Even badly injured, Hui Kong refused to kneel, eyes full of hatred as he tried to activate his life-saving artifact for one last gamble. But before he could finish, the soul-slaying chain dropped and shattered his artifact on the spot. Everyone around them froze in shock. Facing an enemy with no way out, Chu Xuan looked calm and said softly, "Prepare to die." Even at death's door, Hui Kong tried to threaten him. "If you kill me, my master will never," but he never finished. The soul-slaying chain split his body in 2. Chu Xuan just shrugged and replied, "Do you really think I scare that easily?" After Hui Kong fell, he casually wiped out the remaining enemies, their screams echoing non-stop. Overwhelmed by his power, Li Xuanyue quickly stepped forward and thanked him for saving her life. Wu Ke was stunned by the strength of a mere Foundation Establishment junior, but Chu Xuan simply said it was basic caution outside the sect. With the danger gone, Chu Xuan urged everyone to move in and rescue the old ancestor. Inside the dungeon, the imprisoned elder heard the noise and let out a cold laugh. "Back again? How much more blood are you planning to take this time?" Then Liu Zhenxiang shouted emotionally, "Master, it's me." The white-haired old man looked up in shock. It was Wan Wuying, the golden core ancestor of Wuji's sect. Liu Zhenjiang cut the chains at once, knelt down, and promised to break the restrictions and get him out. Facing a miracle he thought impossible, Wan Wuying burst into laughter and sighed that fate had not abandoned him. Joy filled his face as he repeatedly praised the younger generation. After removing the restrictions, Liu Zhenjiang immediately offered blood beads to help him recover. Seeing such a large amount, Wan Wuying absorbed them without hesitation, while letting out emotional sighs. He recalled how hard it was to find even a few after the sect fell, showing their current situation was far better than his. The 3 standing nearby were stunned by the sight. Once partially recovered, Wan Wuying turned serious and said their escape would soon be discovered, so they had to leave immediately. 3 days later, inside a cave behind a waterfall, Chu Xuan was meditating. The spiritual energy here was rich, despite being righteous territory, which puzzled him. Suddenly, the soul-slaying chain began to tremble. Chu Xuan remembered refining Sun Shi's soul into it. Then he added Hui Kong's soul too, and the 2 had fought for 3 days. Now the winner was decided. He opened his eyes and calmly said, "Come out." Hui Kong's soul appeared at once, still resisting as it lunged at him. Chu Xuan smiled and effortlessly used the soul-slaying chain to suppress it again. The cave filled with sharp echoing sounds. Soon, Hui Kong was completely subdued, kneeling and trembling before him. Chu Xuan nodded, deciding he was qualified to become a soul slave. In his plan, the more souls Hui Kong devoured, the stronger the soul-slaying chain would become. Just then, a disciple called from outside, "Martial Uncle Chu, the ancestor has left seclusion. Martial Uncle Lu invites you over." At the gathering point, Wan Wuying had fully recovered. His gaze landed on Li Xuanyu as he laughed loudly. "Li Yudi, worthy of my sect's disciple, I owe my escape to you." After observing her, he praised her talent, strength, and character as top tier. "Excellent, truly excellent." Then his tone shifted. But that little monk from Jinlong Temple was no ordinary man, and he even held the demon suppression script. "How did you defeat him?" Li Xuanyue answered honestly. "The one who killed Hui Kong was not me, but junior brother Chu." Wan Weiying froze, disbelief flashing across his face. Liu Zhenxiang quickly added, Master, that monk Hui Kong was extremely scheming. The three of us together were no match and nearly died. Junior brother Chu endured and waited for the perfect moment, then unleashed a decisive strike. Even the blood beads you used were brought back by him. Right then, Chu Xuan stepped in and bowed. Disciple of Wuji sect, Chu Xuan greets the ancestor. Hearing the name, Wan Weiying frowned slightly. Chu Xuan? Why do I have no impression of him at all? Liu Zhenxiang explained that when the sect was destroyed, Chu Xuan was only at the qi refining stage. He rose to power after that disaster. Still, doubt lingered in Wan Weiying's eyes. Even the weakest back then were at least qi refining 8th or 9th level. I don't recall anyone like you. Chu Xuan calmly replied. At that time I was only at qi refining 4th level. After the sect fell, it was like something clicked. My cultivation soared. I gained some opportunities and collected many blood beads and greater blood beads. That's how I recently broke into Foundation Establishment. Those words shook Wan Weiying deeply. From 4th level to Foundation Establishment in 1 year. Talent like this could aim for the Golden Core path. Such a genius could not be lost. With a decision made, he pointed at Chu Xuan and asked in a deep voice, Chu Xuan, are you willing to take me as your master? Joy rose quietly in Chu Xuan's heart. With the old ancestor backing him, his future path would be secure. Without hesitation, he knelt and kowtowed. Old ancestor above, please accept this disciple's bow. Wan Weiying was briefly stunned. Then he quickly helped him up and laughed loudly. Good, very good. Having a disciple like you truly makes me happy. Xuanyue Wu Ke, I am now the only Golden Core cultivator left in Wuji sect. Are you willing to become my disciples as well? The two were overjoyed and immediately knelt. Disciple Li Xuanyue greets master. Disciple Wu Ke greets master. Looking at the three before him, Wan Weiying felt even more satisfied. Then he arranged, Xuaner, your talent is the best. But in seniority, Xuanyu and Wu Ke are older. From now on, Xuanyu is your eldest senior sister, Liu Zhenxiang is your second senior brother, and Wu Ke is your third senior brother. Li Xuanyue understood at once. In master's eyes, Chu Xuan now ranked above her. Otherwise, he would not have taken him first. Though slightly displeased, she kept a gentle smile. Since master values you so highly, I cannot look down on junior brother Chu. After everything was settled, Liu Zhenxiang asked, Master, what should we do next? Wan Weiying pondered briefly and asked, the former territory of Wuji sect across the 3 prefectures. Who controls it now? Li Xuanyue answered at once. Tengzhou is held by Shengan sect. Jiangzhou is divided between Jinlong Temple and Ren sect. The wealthy Beihuzhou belongs to Yuling Mountain, and the southern wild region of Wuzhou is under Tianji sect. Liu Zhenxiang frowned slightly. It seems Tianji sect suffered heavy losses. I heard they lost 2 Golden Core cultivators in the siege of Wuji sect. Beside him, Chu Xuan noticed the uneven division would surely create conflict. Master, are you planning to target Tianji sect? Everyone was shocked. Master, is Tianji sect really the target? Wan Weiying laughed and nodded. Correct. Joining Tianji sect is the most suitable choice right now. Outside the cave, a blurry figure slowly appeared. Just in time, the person I arranged to meet has arrived. At the cave entrance, the figure became clear and sneered. Old Ghost Wan, you've got guts. Waiting this long inside Tianji sect's territory. Aren't you afraid we might sell you out? Wan Weiying snorted. With Wuji sect's techniques and this many cultivators, I don't believe you aren't tempted. Besides, if you had no intention to accept us, you would have sent Golden Core cultivators to capture us already. As they spoke, Li Xuanyu explained softly. This Golden Core senior is Zhao Wuyai. He has ties with Master and never liked Shengan sect's arrogance. Zhao Wuyai laughed loudly. Old Ghost Wan, your tongue is still sharp. True, Tianyao sect lacks manpower now. We cannot miss this chance. But openly taking in demonic cultivators would cause outside criticism. Coincidentally, the southern Wuzhou region they just seized is a humid tropical forest filled with venomous creatures. Almost a true wasteland. After days of discussion, the sect made its final decision. The Yin Vein branch of Wuji sect will now join Tianji sect. Resources will be provided, but they must not return to the Vein sect. Instead, they must establish their own cave residences within 3,000 miles and develop the area. Hearing this, Wan Weiying burst into laughter. Just what I wanted. At last, the Yin Vein has its own territory. He turned serious. Disciples, greet your martial uncle. Everyone immediately bowed respectfully. Greetings, martial uncle. Zhao Wuyai glanced over Chu Xuan and the others with approval. Not bad. You dared to risk your lives to save old Ghost Wan. That's the spirit a disciple should have. I admire that. Then he looked at Li Xuanyue. You are Li Xuanyue? The strongest among them. Was it you who killed that monk from Jinlong Temple? Winning or losing before doesn't matter. What matters is who laughs last. The atmosphere instantly turned tense. Wan Weiying let out a light cough and stepped forward smiling. Old Zhao, you guessed wrong this time. That person is not Xuan Yu. Xuaner, come here to your master. Zhao Wuya looked at Chu Xuan with doubt. Since when did Wuji sect have a foundation establishment disciple like this? Why have I never heard of him? Wan Wuying narrowed his eyes and smiled. His name is Chu Xuan. No wonder you don't know him. When the sect was destroyed, he was only at Qi refining 4th level. The one who killed Hui Kong and saved me from Yunwu Mountain was him. Zhao Wuya was stunned. In just a few years, he went from Qi, refining 4th level, to early foundation establishment. Wan old ghost, you really struck gold this time. Wan Wuying immediately shot back. Not me, it's our Tianji Gate who gained him. You're his martial uncle. First time meeting and no gift. That left Zhao Wuya speechless. In the end, he took out an item and smiled helplessly. Wan old ghost, you really came prepared. I have an ancient goo technique manual, perfect for a goo cultivator. Take it as a meeting gift. Chu Xuan hesitated and looked at Wan Wuying. Master, about this, but the old man said softly, take it, no need to be polite. I'll also pass you my blood goo scripture and severed divine art, don't disappoint me. Hearing that, Chu Xuan was both excited and embarrassed. Thank you, master. Thank you, martial uncle. Lu Zhenxiang was happy for him, but Li Xuanyue felt uneasy. He just joined and already gets this kind of favor. Even Zhao martial uncle gives him a gift. His status might already surpass hers. After settling into his cave dwelling, Chu Xuan felt emotional. After years drifting across Kangshuan continent, he finally had a place of his own. The only thing missing was a soul-guarding treasure. Without it, the cave couldn't defend itself if he was away. The cultivation room, alchemy room, forging room, and spirit field were all arranged properly. Then he summoned the blood-steel corpse. Ever since getting Zhao Wuya's goo manual, the creature inside him had been restless, boiling with agitation. He brought it closer and asked softly, "You want this?" The blood-steel corpse nodded eagerly. According to the blood goo scripture, the blood-steel corpse descends from the devouring gold blood mother, an ancient goo insect. If it absorbs special blood, it can restore its bloodline and greatly boost its strength. That kind of blood is extremely rare, usually found in other descendants like the flying fiend cockroach and mountain steel spawn. But seeing its desire, he decided to let it try. He figured nothing too bad would happen, so he let it absorb the blood. To his shock, the blood-steel corpse began forming a cocoon inside his body, a sign it was about to enter second transformation. The records say this could take weeks, or even months. Waiting in Kangzhuan continent would waste time, so he chose to return to Helen's star and use the time difference to speed up cultivation. At the same time, he could gather more yin sha energy, refine great blood beads, or find a powerful spirit to guard his cave dwelling. When he returned to Helen's star, his subordinates were overjoyed. "Boss, you're finally back." Chu Xuan nodded. "Anything happen while I was gone?" They replied, "Everything's fine, just one small issue." A two-headed python over 50 meters long appeared in Longjiang City and took over a large area. 2 months ago, General Lin's army chased it, and it fled along the river to Donghu City. After arriving, it wrecked parts of the city and even rushed into your Yin Sha soul-seizing formation, stayed for a while, then retreated. Now the army has over 100 men searching for it. After hearing that, Chu Xuan flew on his sword, thinking, if it were a normal demon beast, it would have been devoured by the formation already. But this two-headed python entered, stayed for a while, and still escaped alive, which was hard to believe. The scene shifts to the border of Donghu City, at a key bend of the Longjiang River. Hundreds of soldiers under General Lin gathered there. Commander Lin Sao said firmly, "This is the last choke point downstream, the only path it can take. We must stop the two-headed python here, or well lose it forever." With her were 2 other commanders, Xiongxin and Li Timu. Lin Sao then turned to Wang Gongjian. "This is your territory, any suggestions?" Wang Gongjian answered decisively, "Commanders, we should invite the cultivator, staying at Hao Tai Hotel. Like I said, if he makes a move, not only can we stop it, killing the python won't be hard." But Lin Sao immediately cut him off. "No need to bring that up. General Yi already concluded. He's just a superhuman with some special tricks. Or are you questioning General Ye's judgment?" Right then, someone pointed at the river and shouted, "Something's coming from underwater." Zhang Xin instantly ordered the armored vehicles to pull up the net. The massive net tightened fast, trapping the two-headed python completely. Li Timu roared, "Open fire." A storm of bullets slammed into its body, making it howl in pain and thrash wildly. From the sky, Chu Xuan watched calmly, feeling a bit disappointed. Is it ending this easily? Guess there's nothing to see. Even Wang Gongjian was stunned. "That's it?" Lin Sao replied calmly, "Yes, it was badly injured last time. That's why it's easier now. Prepare to retrieve the body." But before she finished speaking, the two-headed python suddenly burst out of the water. In a flash, it swallowed Lin Sao whole, and the crowd panicked and retreated. Chu Xuan was about to leave, but stopped, so it hid at the riverbed on purpose, playing dead to lower their guard. He thought to himself, as an enemy it's annoying, but if I tame it, it could guard one side for me. After swallowing Lin Sao, the two-headed python showed a satisfied look. Li Tiamu saw blood dripping from its mouth. He screamed in rage, "Cower! Beast, I'll kill you!" He immediately activated his fireball spirit ability. Without hesitation, he charged straight at the python. At the same time, Zhang Xin shouted, "All superhumans, attack with full force. No matter the cost, kill it. We've already lost one second-tier superhuman. We can't lose another." With that, everyone rushed forward together. Zhang Xin took the lead, activating his body enhancement ability while gripping a long spear. He thrust hard into the python's body, making it shriek in agony. In the air, Chu Xuan observed quietly. The two-headed python knew it was weaker on land, so it provoked them to drag the fight into the water. But right now it was clearly at a disadvantage. Did it still have a trump card? At that thought, his expression suddenly changed. He sensed a surge of killing energy circulating inside the python's body. "Xiao Long, Xiao Hu, I'll leave it to you." As soon as he spoke, Xiao Hu threw a punch. With one strike, he blew up one massive head of the two-headed python. The entire army was shaken. The creature that bullets couldn't pierce lost a head from a single punch, and that was only a corpse under the immortal's command. If he moved himself, how terrifying would that be? Right after that, Xiao Long raised his hand. With a single finger, he split the python's body clean in half. In just one exchange, the two subordinates completely finished off the two-headed python, its corpse falling before Chu Xuan. But at that very moment, the python suddenly opened its mouth and spat a surge of killing aura at him. Everyone gasped. The killing aura is too strong. The immortal is engulfed in demonic energy. That beast wants to drag him down with it. Can he withstand it? It's even stronger than before. Yet Chu Xuan merely waved his hand and smiled faintly. "This Yin Sha energy belongs to you. Take it back." The aura instantly condensed into a giant demonic claw reaching toward the two-headed python. Looking at it, Chu Xuan said calmly, "Good. You've returned everything you took. Now it's time to go. Death is just another beginning. You're qualified to become the core soul of my formation." With that, he controlled the demonic claw and crushed the python with ease. Its soul slowly emerged, and after collecting it, Chu Xuan left immediately without another word. At this moment, Xiongxin still couldn't accept that what Chu Xuan held just now was a soul, extracting souls and flying on a sword. If that's not an immortal's power, what else could it be? He gritted his teeth, staring at the fallen subordinates floating on the water, resentment rising in his heart. It all started from his own arrogance. If he had invited Chu Xuan earlier, none of this might have happened. Meanwhile, Chu Xuan returned to the site of his Yinsha soul-seizing formation, a place he hadn't visited in a while. He looked around and nodded slightly, sensing that the Yinsha energy had recovered significantly, creating a strange sense of vitality, as if all things were growing together. Then he waved his left hand lightly and said calmly, "Come out." Instantly, the soul of the two-headed python appeared before him. Chu Xuan examined it closely, a strange light flashing in his eyes. This spirit body was unusual. Ordinary souls couldn't endure the tempering of Yinsha energy. Yet it not only endured it, it even absorbed it to grow stronger. Over time, becoming a powerful killing soul is only a matter of time. This trip really paid off. At the headquarters of the Superhuman Association, located in Shipyard No. 1 of Yuhai, Hanhai Province, a woman with a faint rosy face was reading a report. It stated that in Jinshan City a high-level zombie appeared. The Ice Spike talent user was killed. 3 small bases were merged, likely led by a second-tier zombie, with over 1,000 normal zombies and more than 20 first-tier ones. The blue-haired man beside her spoke up immediately. "Ding Peng is the closest. Send him to lead a team and wipe them out." After giving the order, the woman smiled and nodded. Ever since he awakened a brain enhancement superhuman talent, every decision of the ship gang had reached near-perfect accuracy. She then added, "Theory's new info from Linjiang Province. That two-headed python we encountered before has been killed in Donghu City." The blue-haired man looked surprised. That python was cunning and intelligent with strong spirit power, not easy to kill. With Xiangxin, Lin Sao, and Li Tiemu, even sacrificing 2 people, the chance to restrain it should be at least 72. The woman handed him the report and smiled. "Xiao Liang, looks like you guessed wrong this time." As soon as he read it, Xiao Liang's expression changed. It clearly stated sword flight, soul extraction, methods of an immortal. His mind quickly calculated. The so-called immortal has a 52 chance of being a 4th-tier superhuman, 22 chance 5th-tier, and a 55 probability that his awakened talent is brain-related due to his control over killing aura. Qi Shengyu muttered softly, 5th-tier superhuman with brain enhancement. That's the first time I've heard you make such an evaluation. Right after that, Xiao Liang turned and left. It seemed it was time to depart. In a blink, the two stood before the gang's chief leader, Qi Shengyu. "He Sheng Liang, you've been here over a year, now you want to leave?" Qi Shengyu replied calmly, "Yes, when we were attacked by the Lion King and nearly died, you saved us. So we stayed 1 year to repay the debt." Now the time is up. We naturally have the right to leave, seeing their resolve. The chief sighed and looked out the window. When you came, you said you were searching for lost memories and needed help from a brain-enhanced superhuman. Seems you've confirmed that the immortal in Linjiang province is your target. Judging by his actions, He's not easy to approach, yet you still want to go? They answered firmly. Yes, we must go, even if He's distant. If we bring a proper gift, he won't refuse. Inside the Yinsha soul-seizing formation, a wave of cold-killing aura suddenly erupted. Then Chu Shuan's shout echoed out. Break through to Foundation Establishment 4th level. He officially stepped into mid-stage Foundation Establishment with his current trump cards, even facing 5th or 6th level cultivators. He had nothing to fear. This half-year seclusion nearly drained all his blood beads. The killing zombies in Donghu City had been cleared. He needed to move to nearby areas to continue hunting. Saying that, he flew away on his sword. Outside a building in Songlong City, several killing zombies were dragging animal corpses inside. At this moment, Qi Shengyu and He Shengliang activated invisibility and quietly approached. After half a year of hardship, they finally reached Songlong City, just a bit further, and they'd arrive at Donghu, where the immortal resides. We must speed up. Suddenly, Xiaoliang looked at the building and said in a low voice, Inside, there's one 4th-year zombie, 9 third-year, and countless low-level ones. The 4th-year is a rare mutated type, a special lioness strain. Calculation shows 72 chance to kill it, 25 draw, 3 death risk. You're sure you want to use it as a gift? After hearing the analysis, Qi Shengyu nodded without hesitation. Of course, only a 4th-year core crystal is worthy as a gift. Low-level crystals won't even catch his eye. Xiaoliang shrugged, not interfering. Then handle it yourself. I'll clean up the low-level zombies nearby. And by the way, this 4th-year zombie has extreme reproductive ability. It can create hundreds more in just 20 minutes. As he finished speaking, Qi Shengyu dropped her backpack and rushed forward. But after only a few steps, she suddenly froze, as if something held her in place. She looked up in shock. Chu Xuan was flying toward them on his sword. Seeing this, Xiaoliang blurted out, It's that immortal. Why is he here? At this moment, Chu Xuan hovered in the air above the high-rise building. He spread out his divine sense, and quickly sensed something unusual. The strange structure of the building wasn't random. Underground, there was a corpse mother hidden. Like a queen ant, as long as it had food from low-level zombies, it could endlessly reproduce. Chu Xuan smirked with interest. He was planning to build a zombie farm anyway. Maybe this could be his breeding source. Xiaolong, Xiaohu, Xiaobao dragged that corpse mother out. The moment he gave the order, 3 fierce figures rushed inside. From another corner, Qi Shengyu and He Shengliang watched closely. She quickly analyzed. The first is armored type, the second is strength enhanced, the last has stealth ability. All 3 show signs of reaching 4th year. If Chu Xuan can control beings like this, his strength is far beyond rumors. She added, If the corpse mother goes all out in reproduction, can those 3 hold on? Xiao Liang instantly calculated, 35 chance to kill it, but risk of losses exists. Inside the building, the corpse mother sensed danger and began reproducing like crazy. A sharp screech echoed out. Waves of small zombies charged straight at Xiao Bao. The moment they made contact, they exploded. The chain explosions heavily injured Xiao Bao and knocked him down with a painful groan. Seeing this, Chu Xuan remained calm and even smiled slightly. Even a 4th year like Xiao Bao got hurt by self-destructing zombies. Halen Star's biological system is indeed special. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. Xiao Liang warned at once, the corpse mother is coming out. If they don't retreat, the assassin type has a 70 chance of severe injury. Qi Shengyu asked, Do you think he'll step in personally? Xiao Liang replied, Chu Xuan will definitely act, but killing it will cost him energy. Qi Shengyu smiled. Then we help at the right time and earn a favor. The tremors grew stronger, making Chu Xuan's 3 zombies unstable. Watching this, he chuckled. It's been a while since I acted myself. Perfect time to test a new spell. You 3 fall back as he spoke. He activated a formation and his aura surged. It was a low-level ceiling formation at the Foundation Establishment stage. At the same time, the corpse mother burst out from underground. Chu Xuan formed hand seals and chanted in a low voice, blood refining 7 flames. Purple fire erupted violently, engulfing the corpse mother and all surrounding zombies. Screams echoed everywhere, but all resistance was useless under the formation's restraint. Chu Xuan watched calmly. Don't struggle. My blood-refining 7 flames only grow stronger through living beings and corpses. In other words, the more zombies there are, the fiercer the flames become. Seeing this, Qi Shengyu and Xiao Liang were stunned. Flames? Wasn't he enhancement type? Does he have dual talents? Xiao Liang muttered. I've only heard of such people in Yanjing. This flame can even melt steel, at least 1 in 500 degrees. Clearly his strength far exceeds estimates. They weren't needed at all. In the end, the corpse mother collapsed in exhaustion. It crawled toward Chu Xuan, making pleading sounds. But he showed no mercy, withdrew the flames, and ordered calmly, Long Hu Bao, take it back, move. Then he controlled his flying sword and left. Qi Shengyu and Xiao Liang stood frozen. Now the gift was gone. What should they do? Well, find another one. Intelligence says. There's a stronger Lion King corpse mother in northern Hanhai province. The two quickly left. Meanwhile, Chu Xuan returned to Haotai Hotel. Next to the hotel, construction was in full swing. The team leader hurried over. Boss, Phase 1 of Happy Farm is complete. Please inspect it. Chu Xuan nodded in satisfaction. Even in this chaotic world, construction still has its place. He ordered that from now on, no outsiders are allowed near this area. His subordinates bowed respectfully. Then Chu Xuan chose an open space and had the 3 zombies drop the corpse mother down. His tone slowed as he said, I can spare your life and guarantee food. But in return, you will produce castrated zombies. No eating, no moving, no consciousness. They exist only as farming's soil, understand? The corpse mother trembled and nodded frantically, immediately starting to reproduce like crazy. Seeing it obey, Chu Xuan stayed indifferent. At this rate, a new batch will form in just days. Their flesh will nourish spirit plants like flesh tai sui and blood demon sprouts for mass cultivation. And every time one is fully absorbed by the plants, he gains a portion of merit, double profit with layered benefits. Time passed quickly. 1 month later, inside the Blood Sha formation, killing aura surged everywhere. Chu Xuan suddenly opened his eyes, satisfaction flashing within. The Blood Sha shadow substitute was complete. This is the 4th layer of Blood Sha body refinement, using essence blood and Yin Sha energy to condense 3 shadow clones hidden in his own shadow, hard to detect, able to take 3 fatal blows for him or even trade lives if needed. At this moment, Long Hu and Bao stepped forward in submission. Xiao Bao and Xiao Hu reached 1st level corpse general, while Xiao Long advanced to 2nd level. With a single glance, Chu Xuan was slightly surprised. All 3 now matched Foundation establishment cultivators. Their growth exceeded expectations. He laughed softly, understanding why. With the farm's steady supply and abundant flesh tai sui, refining tai sui pills became easy, letting them break through fast, something impossible back in Kangzhuan continent. Not only that, the blood-steel corpse completed its 2nd transformation and awakened the innate spell blood-devouring art, making him even more satisfied with Helan Star. However, the Yin-Sha soul-seizing formation was weakening. The Yin-Sha energy had to be split between cultivation and nurturing killing souls. Supply was no longer enough. Perhaps it was time to return to Kangzhuan continent and seek a new formation. After returning, he released the 2-headed python. He assigned it to guard the cave dwelling whenever he left. With the protective formation and Yin-Sha energy surrounding it, it could resist a 6th-level Foundation establishment cultivator. After long seclusion, Chu Xuan decided to scout outside and flew off on his sword. In a forest, Wei Hua and Chen Ge were leading a group on a mission. Suddenly, Wei Hua raised his hand. Stay alert, a powerful aura is approaching. But when they saw clearly, it's Marshal Uncle Chu, Chen Ge immediately bowed. Marshal Uncle Chu, you just went into seclusion not long ago. Why come out so soon? The others looked surprised, never having seen him before. Wei Hua quickly explained he was a Foundation establishment cultivator from Extreme Yin Cave. He also introduced the group as mortal craftsmen, escorted to build a new city. Hearing this, all the mortals knelt in respect. Chu Xuan simply nodded and asked Chen Ge about recent events. He replied seriously, something important did happen. Tianyao sect is preparing to attack local forces in Wuzhou. One of their Golden Core ancestors was ambushed and gravely injured, accelerating their war plans. Chu Xuan smiled lightly. With Tianyao sect's strength, they could have swept through long ago. They just lacked a proper excuse. Now they have one. They'll go all out. Chen Ge added, many cultivators from headquarters were mobilized. Feishan Hall alone sent 5 Foundation establishment and hundreds of Qi refining disciples. Most looked dejected, like cannon fodder. Chu Xuan nodded. War always demands sacrifice, and those at the front lines are usually the ones without backing. Chen Ge admitted that to grow stronger, many resorted to demonic techniques. Chu Xuan glanced at him with a faint smile. Seems you've gained quite a bit yourself. Caught out, Chen Ge chuckled. Just a little from Qi refining folks. If Marshal Uncle is interested, the gains can be huge. Seeing his honesty, Chu Xuan patted his shoulder approvingly. Not bad, take me to see it. I want to know how the black market here operates. Soon, Chen Ge led him into a famous nearby trading zone. Along the way, he explained, this place is called Nameless Market, first founded by early Tianji Gate cultivators in Wuzhou. Later rogue cultivators gathered and rules formed, now maintained by 3 powerful Foundation establishment cultivators. Not far in, shouts echoed from every stall. Fresh blood beads sold out. Ill harvest more tonight, come back tomorrow. Mid-grade yin corpse, 300 small spirit stones. Any higher bids? Rare goo insect, last one available. Standing in that scene, Chu Xuan sensed blood beads, corpse puppets, and goo worms everywhere, but none of them were worth his attention. Chen Ge leaned in and whispered that he had regular buyers for blood beads, and asked if Chu Xuan wanted to sell some. Chu Xuan didn't hesitate, and tossed him a storage bag, telling him to handle it and keep 90%. But the moment Chen Ge checked inside, he froze at the sight of large blood beads, yin artifacts, low and mid-grade magic tools, and recovery pills. Even a small cut from this stash would bring in a huge profit. Chen Ge felt both impressed and uneasy, worried someone might get greedy. Chu Xuan calmly summoned a corpse-nourishing tower, released Xiao Bao, and ordered him to follow Chen Ge and kill anyone who dared to interfere. The crowd turned pale at Xiao Bao's terrifying aura, realizing only a Foundation establishment cultivator could control a corpse general. Seeing everything secured, Chen Ge bowed and promised to finish the job. In the next moment, Chu Xuan appeared before a pavilion, the tea house that managed the market. Just as he stepped forward, a guard shouted for him to stop and grabbed his shoulder. A surge of spiritual power exploded and blasted the guard away. The disciple fell in panic and apologized after realizing Chu Xuan was a Foundation establishment senior. Chu Xuan replied coldly that if he truly wanted to punish him, he wouldn't be standing there. Then he smiled and told them to call out the 3 Foundation establishment cultivators because he had a big deal to discuss. The disciple nervously said only one was present and invited him to a private room on the 3rd floor. After waiting for a while, a voice greeted him for keeping him waiting. The man introduced himself as Lao Han and asked for Chu Xuan's name. Chu Xuan casually replied with the alias He Li. When Lao Han asked about his needs, Chu Xuan noticed he was also using a disguise technique. Ignoring it, Chu Xuan asked directly for top demonic formations like the Yin Soul Refining Array and Blood Nurturing Killing Array. Lao Han's expression instantly changed. He said those were top-tier demonic arrays, hunted by the righteous sects and handed over another formation instead. Chu Xuan glanced at it and dismissed the mid-level Foundation establishment array as useless to him. Lao Han sighed and said the grand arrays were almost lost. Even the remnants of Wuji sect might not have them. He offered to include a formation manual so Chu Xuan could modify it himself. After checking it, Chu Xuan agreed and offered to pay with large blood beads. Lao Han swallowed hard at the sight of an orange-grade large blood bead, shocked by the slaughter required to refine it. He offered 50 low-grade spirit stones per bead and said the set plus manual would cost 10 beads. Chu Xuan realized the value of his blood beads had soared after Wuji sect's destruction. After taking the beads, Lao Han reminded him to come back for future deals, mentioning corpse puppets, goo worms, evil pills, and demonic talismans. That caught Chu Xuan's interest, and he immediately asked about second-rank goo. Lao Han said they were rare, but knew someone who raised many goo worms, including second-rank ones. Hearing that, Chu Xuan handed over 4 more large blood beads as an introduction fee along with a paired transmission jade. He said breaking the jade would alert him instantly and promised a reward if things went well. Lao Han laughed and agreed, and Chu Xuan left without lingering. As he walked away, Lao Han watched him from above with cold eyes, sensing his unfathomable aura and flawless disguise. Taking out 10 large blood beads at once clearly wasn't all he had, and their origin was even more mysterious. Even so, Lao Han quickly suppressed his thoughts, unsure of Chu Xuan's strength and unwilling to take the risk. Sensing no killing intent, Chu Xuan glanced back with a faint cold smile, satisfied. After that, he returned to Highland Star and stayed at the Hao Tai Hotel. While snacking, he studied the ancient formation texts and judged his formation talent as average at best. Comparing the Righteous Path formation manual he once seized with the demonic one he just bought, many unclear points suddenly made sense. He realized that merging the soul-seizing array with the killing-nurturing grand array would rip out every soul within range. The resentment and heroic spirits would condense into yin-killing chi, while the stolen souls would also nourish his 10,000 soul banner. Thinking about the forbidden human zone in the south of Shuanglong, where murderous wind bees multiplied endlessly, he decided to test the array there. In no time, Chu Xuan arrived before an endless sea of murderous wind bees. A faint smile rose on his lips as he formed a seal and activated the soul-seizing, killing array. In the next instant, every wind bee within range was locked in place. Right after that, their souls were forcibly torn from their bodies and dragged toward Chu Xuan. With a wave of his hand, the 10,000 soul banner appeared and unleashed countless evil ghosts. The two forces clashed violently, one side attacking madly while the other devoured without pause. Watching the cycle form perfectly, Chu Xuan felt satisfied as yin-killing qi gathered steadily. When he returned to his cave dwelling, Chen Gei excitedly reported that everything had sold for 2,000 low-grade spirit stones. Even Chu Xuan was surprised, realizing cultivators were willing to pay heavily for strength. He nodded and handed Chen Gei 200 spirit stones as promised, deepening Chen Gei's loyalty. At that moment, Chu Xuan's transmission stone lit up. When the mother stone shattered, he knew Lao Han had news. Without delay, he headed to the meeting point. There, Lao Han introduced Ling Chong Taoist. Ling Chong narrowed his eyes and questioned why Chu Xuan showed no signs of Gu backlash, despite claiming to raise Gu. Instead of explaining, Chu Xuan silently released a blood corpse Gu from his body. Ling Chong's face changed at once, shocked to see a second-rank blood corpse Gu evolve that far. Greed flashed in his eyes as he asked if Chu Xuan would sell it. A chilling aura spread from Chu Xuan, warning him not to stare too much, forcing Lao Han to step in and calm the tension. Once seated again, Chu Xuan directly asked what second-rank Gu were available. Ling Chong listed 3, Iron Armor Gu to harden the body, Mind Guard Gu to boost spiritual sense at the cost of backlash, and Spirit Reservoir Gu, which stored excess spiritual power and released it in battle. Chu Xuan considered briefly and asked for the price of all 3. Hearing the inflated numbers, nearly double market value, his expression darkened while Lao Han quickly tried to smooth things over. Chu Xuan stayed silent and sipped his tea, calculating whether these second-rank Gu were even worth it. Instead of bargaining, he suddenly asked about the cost of breeding Gu worms. Ling Chong sneered, clearly mocking him for daring to attempt Gu fusion. He explained that while Gu could reproduce, most results were useless mutations and rarely worth the effort. Chu Xuan remained firm and told him to just name the price. Ling Chong coldly said 50 low-grade spirit stones per attempt, and Chu Xuan agreed on the spot. He then released his blood corpse Gu and teasingly told it not to be shy. Soon, 3 Gu eggs rested quietly on the stone platform inside the cave dwelling. According to the Blood Gu scripture, breeding results were unpredictable, but Chu Xuan trusted his own fortune. He judged that Iron Armor Gu would likely fail, but Mind Guard Gu might enhance spiritual sense. Combining it with Spirit Reservoir Gu could create a variant that stored spiritual power like a second Spirit Sea. Cracking sounds echoed as 2 of the eggs began to split. When they hatched, Chu Xuan was stunned to see 2 powerful variants with third-rank potential. The moment they fused into his body, both his spiritual sense and spiritual power surged. Before this, controlling 2 magic tools already drained him. Now, even wielding 3 at once barely touched his limit. Suddenly recalling something, he took another item from his storage bag. It was the Merit Bell, a treasure he once obtained but lacked the strength to use. Now, with his improved cultivation, he believed he could finally activate it. Feeling lighter, he realized even latest-stage Foundation Establishment cultivators struggled to control 3 magic tools, yet he had surpassed that limit. At that moment, a flying sword message pierced through the water barrier and entered his cave. Chu Xuan caught it and scanned it with his divine sense. It was a letter from Liu Zhenxiang. The message said the second group from headquarters had arrived, including 2 disciples of Uncle Master Wu Ya, and invited him over. When Chu Xuan arrived, everyone had gathered at the training ground of Extreme Yin Cave. He greeted Liu Zhenxiang and learned they were receiving orders from Tianyi sect. Liu Zhenxiang then introduced the 2 envoys. They were Lu Ying and Zheng Changqing. Chu Xuan bowed, but inside he recognized Lu Ying as Ling Chong in disguise. Lu Ying wasted no time and began explaining the mission. Not long ago, his master and 2 seniors infiltrated the Mingshan secret realm in Yu province and seized the Heavy King, dealing a heavy blow to the righteous path. Now headquarters had declared war, and Extreme Yin Cave would join the battle. Chu Xuan felt the weight of it, knowing his 4th-layer Foundation Establishment cultivation might not be enough against latest-stage opponents. Lu Ying ordered them to depart immediately, and the 3 responded in unison. On the way, Liu Zhenxiang explained more about Yu province's history. Long ago, it was ruled by the Southern Royal Clan, whose forces practiced sword spirit arts, Gu breeding, ghost refining, and corpse rituals, all deeply rooted in the demonic path, making this war especially deadly. After speaking, Liu Zhenxiang grew serious and handed Chu Xuan a talisman sealed with a Foundation Establishment tiger soul for emergencies. Chu Xuan felt genuine gratitude, knowing Liu Zhenxiang had no idea how much stronger he had become, yet still offered a life-saving treasure. Not long after, Lu Ying raised his voice and announced they had entered the territory of Tianchong sect. As one of the 12 major sects of Yu province, Tianchong sect controlled vast lands, so they couldn't focus their forces in one place. Lu Ying turned to Chu Xuan and assigned him to attack Iron Line Mountain. It was a large branch guarded only by early Foundation establishment cultivators, but a strange mist had appeared and trapped 3 Tianyao sect cultivators inside. One of the trapped was a direct descendant of a Golden Core expert, so the rescue was critical. Chu Xuan immediately accepted the order. He flew toward Iron Line Mountain and saw the thick, eerie mist ahead. The fog felt impenetrable and deeply unsettling. Still, he reassured himself that with the Blood Realm, he could retreat if needed. Suddenly, a figure flashed past him. He dodged in time, letting the attacker crash into a tree. Looking closely, he saw the body had been taken over by thread-devouring goo, the most vicious goo of this mountain. Soon 2 more cultivators approached and asked to team up, and Chu Xuan calmly agreed. He introduced himself while secretly judging that these 2 could serve as shields if danger struck. Before they could talk further, a desperate scream echoed for help. Zhao Man dismissed it as a weak rogue cultivator and urged them forward, while Chu Xuan quietly noted the victim was already doomed. Zhao Man focused only on the 300 contribution points promised for the mission. He confidently claimed there would be no danger under his lead. Zhu Yu even reassured Chu Xuan that Zhao Man was near the 4th layer of Foundation establishment. But suddenly, Zhao Man began scratching himself uncontrollably. In seconds, goo worms covered his face as he panicked, unable to see. Chu Xuan's expression changed as he shouted for them to run, sensing a terrifying goo master nearby. As they fled, Zhao Man screamed in agony, asking why everything had gone dark. His cries turned into desperate shrieks of unbearable itch. Countless goo worms burst from his neck and devoured his head in an instant. Chu Xuan and Zhu Yu ran with all their strength. A cold voice echoed behind them, telling them to leave their lives behind. A green beam struck Zhu Yu and sent him flying. The beam then shot toward Chu Xuan. A red shadow burst from his body and blocked the attack, the blood-killing puppet. Seizing the chance, Chu Xuan unleashed yin-killing escape and fled desperately. Minutes later, a figure crashed to the ground and rolled several times. It was Chu Xuan, barely alive, realizing the enemy was far stronger than early Foundation establishment. He decided it was safer to hide in Highland Star until reaching the 7th layer of the blood-killing demonic scripture. Once he reached late Foundation establishment, he would return and uncover who fed them false intelligence. Back in Highland Star, he entered seclusion, but despite sweat soaking the ground, his progress remained slow. Chu Xuan let out a heavy sigh as the breakthrough dragged on despite his massive reserve of yin-killing qi. He muttered that his mediocre mid-grade spirit root simply couldn't compare to the true geniuses of the sect. As he studied the blood-killing demonic scripture, he suddenly realized that while innate roots were fixed, acquired spirit bodies could still be cultivated. The wood spirit body required absorbing a wood element treasure every 3 days, 13 times in total. Once formed, it would greatly boost recovery, physical strength, and even allow control over plants. Chu Xuan's eyes lit up, but he knew Highland Star might lack enough wood element treasures. Without hesitation, he leapt onto his flying sword to begin the search. Yet he suddenly froze mid-air, staring into the distance in shock. A grin spread across his face as he spotted a massive patch of poisonous mushrooms growing in broad daylight. Landing slowly, he observed tiny spores drifting toward living beings. With a wave, a blazing fireball incinerated the spores instantly. He frowned, realizing these spores could sense life, meaning mutated creatures had appeared during his seclusion. Tracing the wind's direction, he guessed the source lay in the neighboring Hanhai province, where a force called Ice Ship once held ground. Elsewhere, a group in protective suits marched through the cold wind. Suddenly, humanoid monsters with mushroom-covered heads rushed out from the fog. A man in a white military coat swung a massive anchor and roared for them to die. The blow crushed one monster's head with a sickening scream. He warned everyone not to get injured, as even a scratch meant infection and transformation. He noticed Lao Lu trembling behind him and shouted his name. Mushrooms sprouted from Lao Lias' body as he begged to be killed. Moments later, he lost control and lunged at his own leader. With gritted teeth, the white-coated man smashed his skull and whispered a farewell. A single tear slid down his cheek. Another soldier reported the northern zone had fallen, and most forces were likely wiped out. The leader tore off his mask and cursed, saying the mushroom disaster had consumed even Linjiang City and that Yan Nantian's legion was missing. He ordered a full retreat eastward to escape by sea, their only chance of survival. Just then, a hoarse voice mocked them for trying to flee. A grotesque being covered in mushrooms stepped out, introducing itself as Rotten Golden Mushroom. One soldier gasped in disbelief that the monster could speak. Rotten Golden Mushroom laughed and mocked their fragile bodies. A black crow suddenly screeched that an immortal was coming, causing it to panic. Hearing that word, its face paled, knowing it had to act fast. The crow urged it on under orders from the mushroom demon. Though retreating, it left behind a cold threat. Suddenly, red beams tore through the sky and bound rotten golden mushroom in place. The monster screamed in terror at the arrival of the immortal. Even the humans below felt overwhelming pressure descend upon them. A moment later, someone cautiously asks, "Where is rotten golden mushroom?" The crowd instantly erupts in cheers, overwhelmed by the joy of surviving, while the leader frowns and wonders if this immortal is the mysterious figure from Linjiang City. Floating in the air, Chu Xuan studies the creature, confused how it can speak without even reaching the Foundation establishment realm. Rotten golden mushroom shrinks back, trembling in pure panic. Chu Xuan coldly asks, "So you're rotten golden mushroom? And yes, I'm the one you've been talking about. Now tell me how you know me." Cornered, the mushroom shakes uncontrollably, words breaking apart. Chu Xuan's voice turns icy. "Refuse to talk and I'll roast you alive right here." With a flick of his hand, he unleashes blood-refining corpse flame. The crimson fire instantly engulfs rotten golden mushroom. His screams echo as a rich aroma spreads, making the little beasts below drool in hunger. Chu Xuan smirks and jokes it smells good. Once it's cooked, you'll all get a taste, forcing the mushroom to beg and admit they've avoided East Lake City because of him. "You're too strong. Our big brother warned us never to provoke you." And hearing that, Chu Xuan presses further about this so-called big brother while withdrawing the flames. Burned and terrified, the mushroom confesses they are four brothers led by Wu Mo Kui, followed by leopard mushroom, green cap mushroom, and himself as the fourth. Chu Xuan's eyes sharpen as he questions why it secretly spread spores while pretending to retreat, trying to turn him into a mushroom. Rotten golden mushroom stares in horror, shocked that even that was seen through. Golden energy suddenly shoots from its body toward Chu Xuan as it viciously shouts for him to die. Chu Xuan calmly activates the blood spirit shield to block. Watching the attack shatter, he notes its power is only mid-chi refining level. He casually waves again, sending blood-refining corpse flame roaring forward. Facing death, the mushroom screams that killing him will bring the wrath of his three brothers and the entire mushroom army of Great Dream Marsh. Chu Xuan chuckles and says that saves him the trouble of searching, as the flames roar and the screams fade away. Soon after, the little beasts happily feast on the roasted mushroom. A small tiger bites something hard and spits out a shining energy core. It brings the core to Chu Xuan, who looks surprised and wonders if this is its core essence. Holding it, he senses energy far beyond any core he has seen and considers using it to rebuild his wood spirit body. He smiles slightly, knowing the blood fiend demon refining scripture has a way to make up for the missing energy. Not long after, Chu Xuan rides his sword to a secluded place. There, he begins setting up the 100 wood spirit gathering array. He mutters that to create a wood attribute spirit item, he needs a wood embryo and massive same attribute life forms to nourish it. His lips curl as he recalls the mushroom army mentioned before dying. In Great Dream Marsh, the leader is Wu Mo Kui. At that moment, Green Cap Mushroom rushes in, saying the fourth brother was captured by an immortal. Wu Mo Kui shakes his head and says that terrifying immortal likely already turned him into roasted mushroom. Trembling, Green Cap Mushroom listens as Wu Mo Kui says he has called back the second brother, and they should hide for now. Suddenly, a cold voice echoes, thinking of hiding now is already too late. Chu Xuan appears right inside their lair. Green Cap Mushroom stammers in fear while Wu Mo Kui forces calm and respectfully asks the immortal's purpose. Chu Xuan looks at them and says he's here to send them to reunite with their brother. Hearing that, Wu Mo Kui immediately roars, "Everyone attack!" Instantly, waves of mushroom men burst from the ground, charging with savage momentum. Instead of fear, Chu Xuan's eyes light up, seeing more than enough wood attribute life forms for his plan. He takes out the summoning tower and orders the little beasts to capture as many mushroom men as possible. At that moment, the third brother secretly gathers power for a sneak attack. Chu Xuan casually responds with Yinsha Demon Claw. The strike is crushed instantly, and the demonic claw tightens, making the attacker scream in agony. Wu Mo Kui lowers his voice and says they never wanted to oppose him, but now they have no choice but to fight to the death. Chu Xuan gives a cold smile and tells him to show what he's got. Wu Mo Kui shouts and releases a massive energy vortex spreading outward. But in the next second, there's no attack. He turns and runs. Chu Xuan's face darkens, realizing it was just a feint to escape. He immediately commands the red soul lock to chase and orders He Kong to pursue. A soul body appears in front of Wu Mo Kui, letting out a creepy laugh. The red soul lock wraps around him, driving him into total panic. In the forest, violent forces collide and throw the air into chaos. Holding 2 spirit cores, Chu Xuan nods in satisfaction. More materials secured, though it's a pity the second brother wasn't here. Just then, a faint sound echoes through the forest. The second brother, Leopard Mushroom, appears, grinding his teeth and feeling lucky he arrived late, then quickly decides to flee Great Dream Marsh. But a tree trunk suddenly blocks his path. Recognizing the little grass king, he sighs in relief and asks for help, knowing this was the one who revealed Chushuan's information before. He says revenge can wait. First he must hide and grow stronger, and as friends asks for assistance. The little grass king calmly pierces vines through his body, while softly saying, "Of course, we are friends." Leopard Mushroom glares in fury and demands to know why. The little grass king coldly replies he cannot risk offending the immortal. It recalls the moment bathed in golden merit light, grateful for gaining intelligence, yet never wanting to face that being again. Later, at the 100-wood nurturing spirit array, Chushuan arranges the captured mushroom men around it. Watching the array run, he realizes the abundant energy can shorten the spirit item's birth to half a year, maybe even produce multiple from one embryo. Still, he decides not to wipe them all out. Some must be raised to higher levels for long-term supply. After careful thought, he sees the current numbers are not enough and needs a more efficient method. Just then, a little beast reports back, and Chushuan asks if Hao Feng's people have come again. Outside, Tang Jinchun anxiously says they've come 5 times already, while the other insists they must wait since Linjiang is in chaos, and this is their only chance. He loudly pleads for the immortal to act, saying the mushroom men are overwhelming, and they are willing to offer everything. Time passes, yet the space remains silent. Tang Jinchun sighs in disappointment, thinking today is hopeless again. Suddenly, Chushuan appears right behind them. The two are startled, then instantly overjoyed. Chushuan looks at them, already calculating, knowing the mushroom men are now scattered, and this is something he can exploit. They immediately promise to do anything, as long as their brothers survive. Chushuan calmly agrees to help this time, saying the mushroom men are controlled by a leader and he will deal with that figure. They can barely believe it, and ask if the immortal truly agreed. But Chushuan coldly warns that once they follow him, betrayal means being devoured by 10,000 corpses and eternal damnation. In that moment, the two could only stare at each other, throats completely dry. Then they both dropped to their knees, kowtowing and begging the immortal to guide them. Chushuan smirked and said, after he kills the mushroom leader, the scattered remnants will be theirs to handle, and Hao Feng must capture as many as possible alive. The leader hesitated and admitted that as a level 2 transcendent, he was already Hao Feng's strongest, yet still struggled against normal mushroom men. Chushuan waved lightly, and 2 spirit cores flew before them, saying he had arranged everything and would not send them to their deaths. They hurriedly caught the cores, eyes trembling in shock, realizing they were level 3 energy cores. The leader nervously explained that transcendents cannot skip levels with cores, or they might turn into bloodthirsty monsters. Chushuan's face darkened as he coldly reminded them of what he had just said. Under his sharp gaze, they dared not hesitate and immediately swallowed the cores whole. Instantly, violent energy surged through their bodies like raging waves. Their muscles stiffened, pain spread everywhere, and they screamed uncontrollably. Chushuan calmly observed, noting it was similar to chi deviation, which would normally cause cultivators to explode and transcendents to mutate. A faint smile appeared as he injected spiritual power into them, guiding the energy and clearing their meridians. His pure spiritual force quickly flowed through their bodies. Gradually, the chaos subsided, and the screams stopped. The intense transformation made them realize something had changed. Overjoyed, they shouted that they had broken through to level 3 transcendent, and praised the immortal's divine methods. They kowtowed repeatedly in gratitude, and Chushuan told them to remember clearly what should and should not be done. Watching him leave, they vowed Hao Feng would complete his orders at all costs, and that their lives now belonged to him. Half a year passed quietly within the formation. Suddenly, a brilliant beam of light burst forth. Chushuan could not hide his excitement. Foundation Establishment Layer 6, success. But he knew Layer 7 was the true divide between mid and late stage, and with his poor aptitude it would take at least 3 years. He thought about the likely outcome between Tianyin sect and Yuzhou sect, and knew he must reach late stage quickly and forge the Yi Wood spirit body. Fortunately, during his seclusion, Hao Feng kept delivering mushroom men to fuel the 100-wood giant spirit array. He immediately flew out on his sword to check the matured wood spirit items. At the collection site, countless energy cores were gathered together. Descending from the sky, he saw the little leopards guarding the area. Looking over the mushroom corpses, he was surprised that so many wood attribute spirit items had fully matured. Sensing their fluctuations, he judged 3 could reach mid-grade foundation establishment level, and the rest at least low-grade. Excitement filled his eyes, knowing there were even more unfinished spirit items waiting, enough to perfect the Yi Wood spirit body, or trade for massive profit between two worlds. Without wasting time, he left at once, determined to cultivate immediately. Inside the underground chamber, Chu Xuan swallowed a wood spirit item and began refining it. The moment it entered his body, radiant light burst from him. 99 days pass, and behind him a massive phantom arm slowly takes shape while he remains in deep meditation. Suddenly he opens his eyes, divine light bursting out, Yi Wood spirit body, minor completion. Feeling the surging power, he proudly declares that from now on his cultivation speed will leave mid-grade spiritual roots far behind. But then he senses something strange and frowns. What is happening to his spirit sea? A massive pillar of energy suddenly shoots straight into the sky. Chu Xuan is stunned. The bottleneck between mid and late foundation establishment shattered so easily under the Yi Wood spirit body bloodline. The shock turns into disbelief as he realizes he has broken straight into foundation establishment layer 7. He laughs loudly, knowing forging this acquired spirit body was his smartest move, and with late-stage power he can now dominate chaotic Yuzhou. Scene shifts to Tangshuan continent, within Yuzhou territory. A group surrounds two cultivators, shouting for the demonic cultivators of Tian Yin sect to go to hell. One panics and yells for senior brother to run. But that same senior brother shoves him forward as a shield, leaving the junior frozen in disbelief. In the chaos, insects swarm over him, while the fleeing man shamelessly claims it was the junior who told him to run. A tragic scream tears through the forest. As he escapes, more miserable cries echo behind him from Bloodwind Cave cultivators. Elsewhere, Chu Xuan has returned to Changshuan continent, gripping a cultivator by the throat, as the man begs for mercy. Chu Xuan responds with a cold smile and crushes him into a burst of flesh and blood. Another witness trembles, realizing this effortless kill is far beyond Qi refining level. Guessing Chu Xuan is foundation establishment, his face turns pale when summoned, fearing his betrayal was discovered. He kneels and pretends gratitude, but Chu Xuan calmly says he only needs his soul. The man's head falls from his body in despair. Chu Xuan smiles darkly, knowing 10 months passed in Lanhai Star but only 1 month here, so he must first understand the situation through their memories. He immediately casts the soul search technique. Information floods in. Several foundation establishment cultivators from both sides have died, and Tian Chang sect still holds on, even wounding a golden core of Tian Yin sect. After absorbing everything, he tosses the two heads aside, surprised at how brutal the war has become. A strange thought arises. It makes no sense that Tian Chang sect could last this long alone. Most likely, the other 4 sects of Wu Kingdom are secretly manipulating the war to exhaust Tian Yin sect before profiting. He also learns his master Wan Wu Ying accepted a new disciple, Chen Zhaofeng, who recently seized a top-grade artifact but is now trapped by Gu masters of Iron Line Mountain. A greedy smile appears on Chu Xuan's lips. He wants that artifact. The moment the thought forms, his flying sword shoots forward, and he also plans to kill whoever dared attack him before. Meanwhile, Li Yingyue, Liu Zhenxiong, and a strange disciple fly together on swords. Li Yingyue questions Zhong Yu about the Gu masters of Iron Line Mountain, while Liu Zhenxiong coldly demands the truth. Zhong Yu feels bitter and cursed by bad luck, knowing this rescue mission has already cost a foundation establishment cultivator his life, and he may not survive either. With no choice left, he explains that when he entered Iron Line Mountain with Zhao Luan and Chu Dao Xiao, the fog was filled with poisonous insects that swell inside the body and devour flesh. Zhao Luan died. He escaped with the flying sky axe, and Chu Dao Xiao's fate is unknown. He insists it was not his fault. The sect's intel was wrong, and no one expected that Gu Master to be mid-foundation establishment. Li Yingyue feels uneasy, knowing Chu Xuan has been missing too long, while Chen Zhaofeng is also trapped here, and as senior sister she must take the risk. Suddenly, Liu Zhenxiong kicks the bound Zhong Yu and roars that his bad intel caused 2 junior brothers to die. He then throws Zhong Yu hard onto the ground. Zhong Yu panics, but Li Yingyue coldly tells him his only job is to stay quiet and follow behind through the formation. She signals Liu Zhenxiong, who takes out a formation-breaking talisman and shouts for it to open. The talisman's power bursts out, creating a safe path as the 3 rush deep into the formation. Left alone for a moment, Zhong Yu trembles with unease. To him, this place feels like twisted hell, while the 2 demonic cultivators remain disturbingly calm. Suddenly, countless black insects swarm from all directions as a cruel laugh echoes, warning them they will die for stepping into Iron Line Mountain. Facing the assault, Liu Zhenxiong shows only disdain and calmly takes out a green jade bottle. The moment he opens it, 4 strange blue-green creatures shoot out toward the incoming swarm. In an instant, the battlefield turns bloody as his insects tear through the enemy. Zhongyu watches in shock, knowing the golden shell devourers rely on numbers. Yet these blue insects seem born to counter them. Liu Zhenxiang laughs and explains they are green armor immortals, natural predators of those bugs, and he carries an entire stock of goo for protection. Hearing that, Zhongyu is stunned, finally understanding why demonic cultivators are both feared and sought after. Suddenly, Li Yingyue warns them as a masked figure slowly steps out from the shadows. Realizing he is being targeted, Zhongyu panics and screams why choose him. The masked man sneers that he is the weakest of the three. Liu Zhenxiang smirks with killing intent, saying he has been waiting for this. At that moment, a green goo worm suddenly appears on Zhongyu's shoulder. Both sides are startled by the sudden change. The worm instantly expands and locks the masked man in place. Zhongyu feels chills down his spine, realizing the trap was planted on him long ago. With the enemy restrained, Liu Zhenxiang coldly demands to know where Chen Zhaofeng and Chu Xuan are. Even at a disadvantage, the masked man laughs arrogantly. Li Yingyue senses something wrong and warns that he is not just mid-foundation establishment, and others are nearby. A gloomy voice echoes from above, saying it is too late to realize. More goo masters appear at once, forming a tight encirclement. At the same time, 3 massive golden wolf phantoms manifest, locking onto their prey. Li Yingyue quickly identifies it as a mid-grade foundation establishment wolf soul-killing formation that will keep regenerating until broken, leaving them shaken at how such a force could exist in Yuzhou. Out of nowhere, the captured man screamed in fanatic rage, Tixian Mountain will never fall, Tianchang sect will never fall, then triggered a self-detonation. A violent explosion erupted right beside the group. The shockwave blasted Zhongyu away, leaving him gravely injured and coughing up blood. Seizing the moment, 3 golden wolves lunged in for the kill. Li Huinyue dodged swiftly, while Liu Zhenxiang roared and activated beast transformation. His body swelled, muscles bulging, eyes turning a strange violet. In full beast form, he charged forward and overpowered 1 golden wolf with brute force. Not far away, a goo master watched coldly and took out a purple jade bottle. The moment he opened it, a strange mist spread rapidly through the air. Liu Zhenxiang inhaled it by accident, his body spasming as he reverted to human form. While retreating, he panicked. It's blood-scattering incense, he knows my weakness. The man burst into mocking laughter and called them by name, hinting they had quite the good junior brother. Those words made both of them freeze for a second. Li Huinyue immediately shouted, Chen Zhaofeng, get out here. From the shadows, Chen Zhaofeng slowly stepped out, wearing a fake look of reluctance. Senior sister, why so worked up? A sinister smile curved his lips. We were once from the same sect. Must you force your junior brother to kill you himself? Liu Zhenxiang roared in fury, Chen Zhaofeng, we risked our lives to save you, why betray us? Chen Zhaofeng smugly revealed he had joined Tianchang sect and become the direct disciple of Taoist Baigu, a golden core expert, and with that status, stealing sect treasures was easy, while their so-called rescue was just for merit. After speaking, he ordered the goo masters to maintain the formation carefully, warning that Liu Zhenjiang and Li Huinyue were no pushovers. The goo insects and golden wolves were driven forward again, their assault growing even more ferocious. Suppressed on all sides, Liu Zhenxiang groaned in pain, despair creeping in as he thought this might be his end. At that critical moment, a blazing pillar of fire tore across the battlefield and incinerated every goo insect into ash in an instant. Li Huinyue immediately looked toward the one who made the move, hope flashing in her eyes. Across the field, Chen Zhaofeng and the goo masters stood stunned in disbelief. Chu Xuan appeared with overwhelming presence. Li Huinyue gasped in joy, it's Chu Xuan. Liu Zhenxiang was thrilled, but Li Huinyue quickly grew cautious, reminding him that Chu Xuan's long disappearance made everything suspicious. Liu Zhenxiang objected at once, yet she insisted he might be planning to kill them himself to claim all the credit. Her sharp reasoning made Liu Zhenxiang hesitate. Without massive resources, how could Chu Xuan grow strong enough to wipe out goo insects in one move? The aura around Chu Xuan now felt unfamiliar and far more oppressive than before. Influenced by her words, Liu Zhenjiang questioned him directly, asking if he too would slaughter his own sect brothers, like Chen Zhaofeng. Chu Xuan only gave a faint smile. Killing them would be easy, but he never forgets those who treat him sincerely. Chen Zhaofeng studied Chu Xuan carefully, while a nearby goo master mocked that surviving a single move was already lucky. Hearing that, Chu Xuan laughed, a chilling sound filled with killing intent. Anyone who provokes him will pay. Too lazy to act himself, Chen Zhaofeng ordered a goo master to handle it, assuming Chu Xuan was at most at the foundation establishment stage. Li Huinyue felt somewhat relieved, realizing Chu Xuan might not be a traitor, while Liu Zhenxiang regained hope but urgently told him to leave. As two cultivators closed in, Chu Xuan stood still and smiled arrogantly. No, I came because this is the perfect time. Before they could even touch him, his figure turned into a streak of crimson fire and shot into the sky. Mid-air, power gathered in his palm, forming a ghostly claw. His cold smile made them realize he was using demonic arts. The attack descended like heavenly wrath, and the two could only stare in horror at the overwhelming force crashing down. When the blood flame claw slammed down, a heaven-shaking explosion erupted, and the ground trembled under the impact. The last remaining Gu Master turned to flee, but someone blocked his path. Xiao Hu appeared, roaring as his fist tightened, and his aura exploded. The man hurriedly summoned an iron armor insect to defend. Xiao Hu's punch, wrapped in red lightning, crushed the insect and blasted the controller's head clean off. The headless body collapsed, and the last Gu Master completely broke down, screaming his family's names in despair. His eyes turned bloodshot as he formed hand seals, roaring madly with killing intent. Facing that fury, Chu Xuan remained indifferent, his gaze sharp and cold with clear disdain. His figure flickered in and out, after images overlapping at terrifying speed, every attack missing nothing but air. Seeing the red flashes in the smoke, Liu Zhenyang gasped, "Is that Yin Sha step? But this speed is insane, it's like a ghost chasing souls." Even Li Xuanyue couldn't believe Chu Xuan had that much Yin Sha spiritual energy to use so freely. With a slight move of his left arm, Chu Xuan unleashed the soul-reaping chain, killing intent tearing through the wind. Under his control, the chain twisted like a serpent and swiftly surrounded the Gu insects. Shrill sounds filled the air as the insects were shredded into pieces and scattered everywhere. A cold smile appeared on Chu Xuan's lips as he flicked his finger. "You're next." The soul-reaping chain screeched and instantly coiled around the terrified Gu Master. The dark red chain tightened around his body, his eyes wide with despair, unable to resist. With one clean sweep, the chain sliced past and his head dropped to the ground. Life ended in a blink. Chu Xuan smiled arrogantly, headless corpses collapsing behind him as Chen Zhaofeng watched in horror. Chen Zhaofeng stood frozen, trembling uncontrollably, cold sweat soaking his body. He suddenly dropped to his knees, crying out, "Senior brother Chu, I was forced. They planted Gu insects in my brain. We're from the same sect. Master values me. You have to save me." Yet behind his back, his hand secretly prepared a sneak attack. Liu Zhenxiang couldn't hide his admiration. "Junior brother Chu, that was eye-opening." Catching an opening, Chen Zhaofeng revealed a vicious grin. He showed his true colors and unleashed the demon-scale soul-rending claw at Chu Xuan, screaming die. From afar, Liu Zhenxiang shouted, "Careful." But as Chu Xuan turned, Chen Zhaofeng's arm was already severed. He stared at the detached limb, blood spraying like a fountain, as a heart-wrenching scream tore out of him. The blood corpse puppet had automatically protected its master and chopped off the attacker's arm. Liu Zhenxiang cursed, "You vicious snake, still daring to strike now? Junior brother Chu, finish him." Pale and shaking, Chen Zhaofeng begged, "Senior brother Chu, I have top-grade treasures. I'll give you everything. Just spare me." Chu Xuan placed a hand on his head, sending him into extreme panic. Why make it complicated? Power surged from his palm as memories were forcefully extracted. I'll just take every secret with soul search. When his hand withdrew, Chen Zhaofeng's body collapsed, all life extinguished. After dealing with the traitor, Chu Xuan withdrew his killing intent and cupped his fists with a gentle smile. "You two have worked hard." Liu Zhenxiang laughed loudly. "We came to avenge you. Who knew you not only survived but advanced this fast? Master would be overjoyed." Li Xuanyue bowed with mixed emotions. "Thank you for saving me. Including Yunwu Manor, you've saved me twice." Yet deep down she felt uneasy, sensing his strength had far surpassed hers. Chu Xuan waved it off with a smile. Helping fellow disciples is only natural. Then he signaled them to move. "Let's go." According to the memories, no one else survived on Tixian Mountain. Then his eyes turned cold. Oh, except one at the foot of the mountain. At the base, Zhongmu lay tied up, cursing bitterly. "You dogs from Extreme Yin Cave, you'd better all die up there." He gritted his teeth. "If I get out, I'll report you to the sect master for slaughtering fellow disciples." A figure stepped forward, cutting him off. Zhongmu looked up, cold sweat forming as he heard a chilling voice. "I'm afraid you'll be disappointed." Seeing who stood before him, Zhongmu turned pale and trembled. "See Chu Xuan." A miserable scream echoed through the mountains, sending birds scattering in panic. Ah! The scene shifted to Wan Weiying's cave abode. From above, he released crushing pressure and questioned coldly, "You returned to report only after finishing everything?" His face darkened. "Speak the truth, Chu Xuan. Did you kill Chen Zhaofeng out of jealousy?" Chu Xuan remained calm. "No, master. I was simply cleaning up a traitor for the sect." Wan Weiying snorted. "Sounds righteous. Look at me. Did you kill him to seize the top-grade artifact, Qian?" Chu Xuan did not flinch. "I won't hide it. I did desire that artifact." Standing nearby, Li Xuanyue was shaken. He admitted it so directly. Was he not afraid of angering their master? Unexpectedly, Wan Wuying's expression eased slightly. At least you're honest. He sat down and waved it off. Chen Zhaofeng betrayed us. He deserved death. A bit of selfish intent is normal. I won't pursue it, but there's something else. His gaze deepened. Where were you this past month? How did you jump from 2nd level foundation establishment to 7th level? Liu Zhenxiang finally understood Chu Xuan's strength and was stunned. No wonder he was that powerful. Li Xuanyue was equally shocked to realize he had entered latest-stage foundation establishment. With a respectful bow, Chu Xuan replied, Master, I was already at 4th level. I hid my strength to avoid becoming a target. Wan Wuying pondered this, secretly approving of both his talent and caution. Chu Xuan continued, explaining how he was gravely injured on Tixian Mountain, barely escaped, and accidentally fell into a hidden valley to recover. Before he could finish, Wan Wuying cut him off. Everyone has their own fortune. No need for details. He waved them away. Leave. You killed many Gu cultivators. Taoist Baichong will surely be enraged. Hide in your caves for now. The three answered in unison. Disciple takes leave. As soon as the words fell, Chu Xuan turned and left first. Someone beside Li Xuanyue whispered, Seems your position as senior sister might not be so stable anymore. Li Xuanyue thought for a moment. If junior brother can always surpass me, then he deserves that position. Back in his cave abode, Chu Xuan began checking the spoils, sighing at how poor the Gu cultivators were. The 3 storage bags only held a little over 100 low-grade spirit stones and some junk artifacts, hardly worth keeping. When he picked up Chen Zhaofeng's bag, a faint smile appeared with a hint of anticipation. He opened the storage pouch. Instantly, treasures poured out in dazzling light. Chu Xuan's eyes lit up. This time, I hit the jackpot. Inside were massive piles of precious materials, true inheritance manuals, and mid-grade spirit stones far beyond expectations. As he sorted through them, he felt this trip had paid off, especially the top-grade artifact he long desired. In his hand was a small crimson egg glowing faintly. Records stated that within the blood wasp nest lay the queen's egg, dormant for thousands of years, and once refined, it would become a Natal Gu. Blood wasps could evolve into many forms, with combat types being extremely bloodthirsty. Others could convert flesh and blood into energy, producing blood honey, and at higher ranks, even more variants would appear. However, the user's soul had to be strong enough, or the artifact could not be fully controlled. Holding it, Chu Xuan understood why Chen Zhaofeng was valued, and why he betrayed the sect. The temptation was simply too great. He sat cross-legged among the treasures and began refining it. Inwardly, he calculated that with the abundant resources of Highland Star, the loss of soul power or blood essence meant almost nothing to him. After 3 days, the life form inside cracked the shell and emerged. Holding it in his palm, Chu Xuan revealed a satisfied smile. Success. He fed it a blood pearl. In its early stage, it still relies on blood pearls. Once mature, it will produce the first generation and send them to hunt flesh and condense blood honey. And that blood honey will greatly speed up cultivation. The energy inside far surpasses ordinary blood pearls. Elsewhere, the atmosphere grew heavy as an old man burned with rage. The incident at Tixian Mountain had completely shattered his plans. In just 7 days, strongholds kept falling. Tianyin sect pushed in from the southeast, forcing the situation to the brink, while the black-robed figure beside him stayed silent. That man was Taoist Baichong. His voice was low. I need 1,000 beast spirit talismans, no mistakes. The man in black smirked. That number is impossible. We can supply 300, plus 10 foundation establishment array sets, and 50 high-grade artifacts. Taoist Baichong frowned. You promised to restrain Tianyin sect, yet their assault only grows fiercer. My men can barely hold on. The other replied calmly. If the plan succeeds, Tianyin sect will halt attacks within half a month and recall their experts. You may rest easy. He then took out a jade slip. Everything about your disciple's death at Tixian Mountain is inside. Taoist Baichong reached out and accepted it. His divine sense immediately swept inside. After reading it, fury exploded from him as he slammed his palm down. Killing intent filled his voice. So it was the foundation establishment brats of Extreme Yin Cave. I will make them pay for Fenger. The black-robed man laughed coldly. They deserve death, but the real one to eliminate is their master. If we cooperate, we can remove Wan Wuying. Then his disciples will be nothing but fish on a chopping board. Taoist Baichong paused. If you truly accomplish this, I will hand over what you want. The man leaned in and whispered the plan. After hearing it, Taoist Baichong burst into hearty laughter, clearly approving the vicious scheme. The scene shifted. Chu Xuan walked leisurely through the marketplace, silently noting it was now under Extreme Yin Cave's control. Adjusting his hat, he smiled faintly. War had blurred the line between righteous and demonic. Only strength mattered now. At that moment, Chen Ke approached respectfully. Greetings, Marshal Uncle Chu. Chu Xuan handed him a storage pouch. Handle these goods. Same profit split as usual. Chen Ke agreed at once. Glancing at his cultivation, Chu Xuan nodded. Not bad. 7th level qi refinement. No need for escort anymore. Chen Ke smiled awkwardly. Thanks to the spirit stones you gave me. They saved my life more than once and helped me reach late stage. He then mentioned Wei Hua's tragic death, and the mood instantly turned heavy. Chu Xuan fell silent, sensing how insignificant low-level cultivators were in wartime. He said slowly, staying alive is already fortune. Keep working hard. The war will pass. The road ahead is still long. Chen Ke forced a smile. To be honest, I'm nearly 40. My potential is almost spent. If I can take one more step, I'll be content. In a few years, I plan to return to Pingyuan, build a small clan, and maybe send future descendants into the sect. After bowing, he left. Watching his weathered back, Chu Xuan reflected. Qi refinement cultivators barely lived longer than mortals. Once foundation establishment became impossible, many left to start bloodlines. For someone like Chen Ke, preparing for the next generation made sense. The thought sent a chill through him. Without his own opportunities, his fate might have been the same. Pushing that aside, he calmly headed toward a small shop he once visited. This time, he used the identity Manhwa, already planning to act under that name again. As he entered, a bright young girl greeted him warmly. Are you buying or selling? Under the guise of Manhwa, Chu Xuan replied briefly. Both. Artifacts, techniques, blood pearls, goo insects. I have everything. Her eyes lit up. She immediately explained transactions through a sound transmission artifact. Holding it, Chu Xuan heard voices echoing inside. Amused, he asked its name and learned it was called Blue Fang. After understanding its use, he began tradings, selling high-grade artifacts, purchasing goo insects and large amounts of blood pearls, and searching for high-grade foundation establishment techniques. Soon, someone inside responded and arranged to meet in person. Not long after, a man entered looking for the seller. With one glance, Chu Xuan recognized him as an old acquaintance and nearly laughed at the coincidence. The old man approached with a friendly face, while Chu Xuan silently assessed him, realizing he was no ordinary figure to survive the chaos. Just then, another person rushed in, clearly wanting to inspect the goods. Chu Xuan recognized his true identity but showed no reaction. He calmly took out an artifact and explained its abilities. The other party examined it and offered to trade with a cultivation technique, but only allowed one choice. Chu Xuan already knew what he wanted, yet acted dismissive, saying the two options were not worth it. He kept applying pressure until the man grew uneasy. When questioned back, Chu Xuan simply said he wanted to see all the techniques before deciding. With no choice left, the man placed several more manuals on the table. Chu Xuan pretended to consider carefully, while the other suppressed his frustration, waiting to bargain. After some back and forth, Chu Xuan picked up one and said, "This one." Before he finished, Taoist Ling Chong hurriedly praised it. Fellow Taoist has sharp eyes. This is. The book was tossed aside mid-sentence. All trash, nothing usable here. Acting impatient, he grabbed another. Taoist Ling Chong quickly explained, that's Flying Blood True Art, a top-grade technique of Blood Fury sect. For an equal trade, I'm afraid. Chu Xuan's gaze turned cold. It requires blood arts to function. How many in Tianyin sect would dare cultivate it? And how long before anyone even asks for it? Taoist Ling Chong broke into cold sweat, feeling completely exposed. Forced to concede, he began to agree. All right, then, but was cut off again. Chu Xuan pointed at another manual. I'm also interested in the Golden Dragon Temples technique. This Golden Dragon body art can be included as a bonus. Taoist Ling Chong's face twisted in anger, but Old Han stepped in with a smile, saying that book never sold anyway. In the end, Taoist Ling Chong gritted his teeth, grabbed the artifact, and accepted the trade. Old Han watched him leave angrily, and cheerfully teased him goodbye. As for Chu Xuan, he secured what he needed, and felt satisfied with the gain. Old Han praised him and hinted at further deals. Chu Xuan turned back, alert now, realizing he had been careless, and asked what Old Han wanted to trade. Old Han smiled mysteriously. Not just techniques, I also sell information. Chu Xuan showed interest but stayed cautious. Old Han claimed he knew the full war situation, from the unrest to the masterminds, even the next targets. Chu Xuan nodded slightly. That sounded valuable. He placed 10 blood pearls on the table. Give me part of it first. If it's true, I'll pay more. Old Han quickly accepted. He revealed that within half a month, the current powerhouses would be recalled and replaced by new figures. Hearing this, Chu Xuan fell into thought. These incoming names were clearly hostile to Extreme Yin Cave. A cold smile appeared. A storm was coming. Raising his cup, he pieced things together and realized a third force might be manipulating everything. A flash of insight linked it to the treasure, once fiercely contested. Perhaps all of this revolved around it. Old Han pressed on, offering even more crucial information. But Chu Xuan decisively left without hesitation, leaving Old Han stunned. Stroking his chin, Old Han pondered. That attack artifact bore snow mountain markings. Though Chu Xuan once slaughtered 7 snow mountain cultivators, he showed no concern, and his aura felt different. Old Han sighed softly. This man was far too deep to read. Back in Wan Weiying's cave, Chu Xuan and 3 others respectfully greeted their master. Wan Weiying's gaze swept over them. Once my disciples were as many as a forest. Now only a few remain. He decided to reveal hidden truths so his lineage would not be cut off. Li Xuanyue looked at him in confusion. Wan Wuying continued. A month ago, Zhao Wuya, Huang Mianyu and I entered Yu province and seized a great treasure from Tianchong sect. I won't say what it is. Just know it's enough to drive other sects mad. Chu Xuan's lips curved slightly. Everything matched his expectations. Wan Wuying went on. The clash between Tianyin sect and the local forces should have ended long ago, but a third faction stirred things from the shadows. Our investigation shows it is Yuling Mountain. One disciple gasped in disbelief, while Chu Xuan remained calm, as if he had already guessed. Li Xuanyue murmured the name Yuling Mountain, and Liu Zhenxiong turned to Chu Xuan, asking what he thought. So Xuan calmly breaks it down. After Wuji sect fell, the 5 righteous sects split the land, and Yuling sect took most of the rich northern territory of Wuzhou. Wan Wuying strokes his beard and smiles. Certain someone is targeting the supreme treasure, and will strike soon, especially with Zhao Wuya and Huang Wanyu about to be recalled. He pats So Xuan on the shoulder and warns them to stay alert, because if the enemy dares target him, they will not spare them, especially Bai Gu from Tianchong sect, who values Chen Zhaofeng deeply. Take care of yourselves, he says, then turns and walks back into the hall. Li Xuanyue and the others fall silent, each lost in their own thoughts, all feeling the same unease creeping in. But So Xuan feels excited instead, quietly calculating, ready to retreat to Highland Star if things go bad, or use the chaos to test his strength if someone makes a move. In the nameless marketplace, Ling Chong Taoist admires the artifact he just got from So Xuan, thrilled because this top-grade treasure will secure his next hunt. Right then, Zhong Yu walks in and greets him with a respectful salute. Ling Chong Taoist waves it off and gets straight to the point, asking who the target is and when they move. With a smile, he raises one finger and says it is someone Zhong Yu knows well, the one involved when Extreme Yin Cave captured him and nearly killed him at Iron Segment Mountain. Zhong Yu turns pale and blurts out Li Xuanyue and Liu Zhenyong, then panics, thinking they are targeting Extreme Yin Cave, which he knows he cannot handle. Ling Chong Taoist drapes an arm over him and tempts him, saying the real target is the weakest one, So Xuan, easy to kill and full of value. Fear surges through Zhong Yu, as he feels like he is being pushed straight toward death. Seeing his pale face, Ling Chong Taoist presses him, and Zhong Yu stammers about his master's ties with Zhao Wuya and Wan Weiying, worried this move will cause disaster. Ling Chong Taoist grits his teeth and says coldly that his master knows nothing, and the order to wipe out the Extreme Yin lineage comes from above. He demands an answer while Zhong Yu weighs the risks in silence. In the end, Zhong Yu bows and refuses, saying the cultivators of Extreme Yin Cave are not easy targets, and he will not get involved. Ling Chong Taoist's face darkens instantly, killing intent gathering in his hand as Zhong Yu breaks into a cold sweat. Zhong Yu hurriedly swears 3 oaths, promising to keep everything secret, and even forms a heart demon oath on the spot. Only then does Ling Chong Taoist relax, leave a final warning, and walk away. Zhong Yu finally breathes again, cursing inside, thinking Ling Chong Taoist chose the most unpredictable member of Extreme Yin Cave and is basically courting death. 2 months later, at the gate of Tianchong sect, So Xuan and the Golden Core experts of Tianyin sect gather in full force. An old man named Zhu Taiji, a Golden Core cultivator, proudly declares this is a stronghold of Tianchong Mountain, and after 2 months of siege, the enemy is at the end of the road. A fat cultivator adds that the mountain-protecting array is weakening without spirit stones, and another Golden Core predicts the last 3 survivors will try to flee back to Yu State. At that moment, a group suddenly charges out from inside the city. Zhu Taiji's eyes flash with cruelty as he realizes the final prey has shown itself. The Golden Core experts of Tianyin sect immediately rush forward to chase them down. Zhu Taiji loudly offers Bai Gu a chance to surrender, promising him an elder position if he submits. Bai Gu coldly refuses, saying he will never share the sky with demonic cultivators, and orders his people to turn back and fight. Zhu Taiji quickly divides his forces, leading 3 to intercept the enemy Golden Core, while the rest move to wipe out the remaining survivors. Instantly, So Xuan joins the battlefield without hesitation. An enemy throws hidden weapons and roars, with killing intent. So Xuan pretends to panic, clumsily dodges, and lets out a terrified scream. Then he controls his flying sword and flees, acting like he is retreating in chaos, luring the enemy to chase him deeper. Once they are far inside the forest and out of sight, So Xuan finally slows down. The pursuer arrives confused, only to see So Xuan suddenly calm, as if this empty forest is exactly what he wanted. While the enemy is still stunned, So Xuan turns around, eyes cold, clearly choosing this spot to settle everything. In a single flash, he strikes once and kills the opponent on the spot. After that, So Xuan casually collects the spoils of war. Suddenly, he senses movement behind him and frowns, realizing someone else is here. Two figures appear, one flattering the other, talking about fame and profit from killing demonic cultivators while treating So Xuan as easy prey. But the moment they land, So Xuan has already vanished, leaving them staring in disbelief. The other crouches down, touches the still warm blood, and confidently claims he can track So Xuan with his own method. He releases a goo insect along with an artifact, explaining it once belonged to So Xuan and was bought from someone inside Extreme Yin Cave. The goo insect gives off a faint reaction, able to detect So Xuan's aura and point out the direction once it catches the scent. Suddenly, the insect stiffens upright, and they realize the target might be right behind them. The controller grits his teeth and slowly turns around with a cold glare. Before he can react, his companion suddenly feels the world spin, unable to understand why he is falling or whose headless body lies ahead. Even at death, he never realizes his own head has already been severed, while the other screams in horror. Acting on pure instinct, he instantly activates his defensive technique. In a blink, his entire body is covered in solid armor. At that exact moment, So Xuan's Crimson Soul Lock crashes down and shatters the defense, leaving him gravely injured. Blood sprays everywhere as So Xuan steps out from behind a tree, retrieving his artifact. Slightly surprised the man is still alive. Trembling, the injured cultivator begs for mercy, claiming they have no personal grudge. So Xuan only smirks coldly and reminds him they were the ones who came to take his life. The man freezes in shock, finally realizing this is So Xuan, the one who killed Zheng Changqing, and that their intel was completely wrong. Knowing there is no way out, he gathers his strength and charges forward in desperation. But the moment his attack is released, he suddenly turns and runs, trying to escape. He had prepared to kill, but now he only wants to survive and report So Xuan's true strength. Before the thought even finishes, Xiao Bao appears behind him and pierces through his chest in one strike. Flames erupt and devour his body, leaving only a miserable scream echoing in the forest. So Xuan retrieves his artifacts and shakes his head, saying using his own item against him is pure suicide. His expression darkens as suspicion rises about a traitor inside Extreme Yin Cave, possibly Li Xuanyu. Suddenly, 3 flying needles shoot at him from behind. He reacts instantly, using Crimson Soul Lock to block the sneak attack. His eyes sharpen as he stares toward the direction of the hidden assailant. He sends out a palm strike with overwhelming force, forcing the enemy into the open. A shadow leaps back to dodge, but So Xuan immediately commands Xiao Hu and Xiao Bao to block the escape. The opponent draws out an artifact and begins chanting a spell. Illusions of a wolf and a tiger appear and clash with the 2 spirit beasts. Without hesitation, So Xuan summons the 10,000 Souls banner and activates it repeatedly. The enemy's face changes as countless wailing spirits surround the area, while So Xuan watches calmly. The opponent forms seals and golden light bursts out, creating a sturdy shield against the souls. So Xuan quickly realizes this technique directly counters his own methods. After breaking through the spirit siege, the enemy continues casting. The ground behind So Xuan trembles as a massive earthen stone beast rises to attack. He immediately calls out the blood shadow puppet to block it. The collision explodes violently, shattering the beast into flying debris. So Xuan narrows his eyes, realizing this opponent is far stronger than the others, at least latest-stage Foundation establishment. So Xuan grows cautious, suspecting this man is a high-ranking figure from Tianyin sect. The other side studies him as well, eyes sharp and calculating. They stand in silence, tension rising with every breath. So Xuan quickly weighs his options, knowing this could turn into a life-or-death fight. Suddenly, the man laughs and changes his tone, calling it all a misunderstanding and suggesting they both back off. So Xuan pauses, then agrees, but demands the man state his name and withdraw his artifact first. The young man smiles and introduces himself as Liao Yun, saying there are too many chances for profit right now to waste time here. So Xuan instantly recalls that Liao Yun is one of the 3 sons of Tianyin's sect and far more cautious than the rumors suggest. He realizes this type of scheming opponent is the hardest to deal with. After a moment, So Xuan suddenly speaks again, suspecting Liao Yun may still be hiding nearby. But the forest answers, with nothing but chilling silence. So Xuan scans every corner carefully, leaving no blind spot unchecked. Only after confirming there is no ambush does he finally relax. His smile turns dark as he decides to stop chasing strong enemies and instead hunt down the traitor, because this debt cannot wait. Elsewhere, Li Xuanyue and Liu Zhenxiong are hiding when a group finds them and calls them out. Li Xuanyue burns with anger, furious that she was ambushed into this situation. The enemy mocks them, saying So Xuan has already been targeted by Liao Yun and likely will not survive. Liu Zhenxiong explodes in rage, cursing the traitor and regretting ever saving his life. The man sneers and claims it was the sect that betrayed him first. At that moment, a young man steps forward, lightning crackling violently around him. With a wave of his hand, bolts of lightning shoot forward. Their hiding place is instantly destroyed as trees collapse around them. Li Xuanyu immediately recognizes who it is. It is Duan Pengfei, Zhu Taiji's top disciple and one of the famous three sons. His companion casually divides the targets as if this is just a game. Facing pursuit, Li Xuanyue activates her defensive artifact and turns to flee. Duan Pengfei only laughs at such a weak trick. He transforms into a streak of lightning and shatters her defense in an instant. In the blink of an eye, he appears right in front of her. His face cold, lightning gathers at his fingertips. He strikes and blinding light floods the area. When the light fades, Li Xuanyue is gravely injured and barely breathing. Despair fills her heart as she realizes the gap in cultivation is overwhelming. From afar, Liu Zhenxiong shouts in panic, but Duan Pengfei presses the attack, giving her no chance to escape. Lightning power surges violently along his raised weapon. Liu Zhenxiong is stunned, unable to understand his fellow disciples' actions. Li Xuanyue does not look back and coldly escapes, sacrificing others without hesitation to save herself. Behind her, Liu Zhenxiong is swallowed by the attack, his scream echoing out. After running some distance, Li Xuanyue comforts herself, believing they would not dare pursue openly in front of other forces. Right then, So Xuan suddenly appears before her. He grabs her by the throat and slams her to the ground. Seeing him unharmed, Li Xuanyue is utterly shocked. She scrambles up, stammering in confusion, and even suspecting he might also betray the sect. So Xuan coldly replies that he is simply cleaning out the traitor after witnessing everything. Hearing that, Li Xuanyue instantly changes her tone and pretends to be pitiful. She even offers benefits and her status in exchange for a chance to live. So Xuan, who never hesitates, gives a chilling answer, saying the one thing he lacks least in this world is cultivation furnaces. And, with a flick of his hand, the crimson soul lock tightens and her head falls cleanly. Until her final breath, she cannot accept how fast and ruthless So Xuan was, her lifeless eyes frozen in a grotesque expression. Suddenly, crackling sounds filled with pressure echo behind So Xuan. Duan Pengfei appears, lightning blazing in both hands, while So Xuan merely glances at him and sighs, realizing he now has to deal with another troublesome member of the three sons. Duan Pengfei raises a brow and sneers at So Xuan, shocked he is still alive and calling Han Liaoyun and Qi A useless trash. So Xuan fires back coldly, asking what that makes someone like Duan Pengfei who stands on the same level as that trash. The insult hits hard and Duan Pengfei's face twists with rage. He roars and immediately unleashes his lightning-shocking finger. Violent lightning blast forward, and So Xuan quickly brings out his black iron shield to block. But the lightning grows more frenzied, hammering down until his defense starts to crumble. So Xuan admits the righteous lightning arts of the three sons are no joke, and realizes his demonic arts alone will not hold, so he decides to use his trump card. The moment the thought forms, he shoots into the air and charges straight at Duan Pengfei. Duan Pengfei laughs mockingly, asking if So Xuan really thinks he only fights from a distance. He declares that close combat is his true specialty, and anyone who dares approach him will die miserably. With a flash, a massive lightning axe forms in his hand as he roars Lightning Heaven Axe, and even So Xuan feels the pressure. The Thunder Axe slams down like divine punishment, and So Xuan raises the black iron shield to meet it head-on. Sadly, the shield lasts only for a brief second. With a sharp crack, it shatters, and So Xuan closes his eyes and summons the Golden Bell. The Golden Bell appears with a clear chime, and a phantom golden lotus blooms behind him. The bell directly faces the incoming strike. With a deafening clang, Duan Pengfei's lightning axe explodes mid-air, while So Xuan stands untouched inside the Golden Bell. The backlash throws Duan Pengfei backward as he coughs up blood, staring in horror and shouting that it is merit power, impossible for a demonic cultivator to possess. So Xuan only gives him a faint mocking smile. Duan Pengfei forms seals again and roars that he has not used all his tricks yet. But in the next instant, So Xuan appears right before him, killing intent suffocating the air, asking if he really thinks he will get another chance. A cruel smile flashes as So Xuan punches straight through his chest. Terrified, Duan Pengfei begs for mercy and offers all his top-grade artifacts. So Xuan sneers, saying once he kills him, everything will belong to him anyway. He even thanks him for the reminder about his top-grade lightning spiritual root. And with that final sentence, Duan Pengfei's life ends. Elsewhere on the battlefield, the fight between Wu Qi and Liu Zhenxiong reaches its end. Wu Qi's eyes burn red as he repeatedly hacks at Liu Zhenxiong's corpse, screaming that even in death he will vent his hatred. At that moment, So Xuan silently appears behind him. Wu Qi thinks it is Duan Pengfei and turns around smiling, asking if he finished Li Xuanyue. But when he sees So Xuan instead, his smile freezes and fear floods his face. Inside he is desperate, yet he forces a fake smile and greets So Xuan warmly. Seeing So Xuan's dark expression, Wu Qi hurriedly blames Liu Zhenxiong for betrayal and destroying his natal artifact. So Xuan does not bother replying, as demonic flames burst from his hand and wrap around Wu Qi's neck. With a sharp snap, Wu Qi's head falls, blood spraying everywhere. So Xuan glances at Liu Zhenxiong's body with faint regret, saying he was too kind for the demonic path and might have lived differently in a righteous sect. Suddenly, he looks toward a distant corner and coldly orders the hidden watcher to come out. From behind a tree, Han Liaoyun slowly steps out laughing, admitting So Xuan truly cannot be fooled and praising his decisive revenge. So Xuan stares at him warily, asking what he is doing here and if he wants revenge. But Han Liaoyun waves it off and says he neither knows nor cares who killed Duan Pengfei, and in fact feels grateful. Han Liaoyun says maybe next time they meet, they can even work together, but So Xuan stays silent. Han Liaoyun bids farewell and leaves without another word. Up in the sky, the Golden Core battle is still raging violently. Watching from below, So Xuan judges the situation, knowing this is a Golden Core battlefield far beyond his current strength. If Wan Weiying loses, Extreme Yin Cave will likely be wiped out by Tianyin sect, so he must prepare an escape route. Yu State is controlled by Burning Heaven sect, and heading south as a demonic cultivator might still be possible. But between Yu State and Yu State lies an endless desert full of brutal beasts, dangerous even for Golden Core cultivators, and without a map it is almost suicide. Suddenly, he senses something unusual in the sky as two new Golden Core auras appear, one of them clearly Zhao Wuya. So Xuan frowns, confused because Zhao Wuya was supposed to be transferred away, wondering if this is Tianyin's sect's scheme or Wan Lao's deeper plan. If that is true, then the situation might soon turn in his favor. Elsewhere, the chaotic clash among disciples continues intensely. Then everyone suddenly stops and looks up at the sky in shock. Someone blurts out that the Golden Core battle is over and asks who won. Wan Weiying's group gathers as he laughs loudly, welcoming Zhao Wuya at last. Zhao Wuya declares that the three ancestors of Tianchong sect are dead, and any remaining disciples who surrender will be spared. The Tianyin sect disciples immediately cheer in celebration. Standing behind them, So Xuan smiles faintly, relieved that his master is still alive. Suddenly, Wan Weiying's voice transmits privately, ordering him to meet in the eastern forest at once. In the forest, So Xuan reports everything truthfully with a respectful bow. Wan Weiying coldly says killing Wu Qi was justified, but questions why Li Xuanyue was also killed. So Xuan calmly replies that she may be innocent now but not in the future, and he refuses to leave hidden trouble, especially if resources must be shared. Wan Weiying bursts into laughter, praising him for putting himself first, and officially appointing him as the senior disciple from now on. So Xuan thanks him, then asks why Zhao Wuya and Huang Yuanyu suddenly returned. Wan Weiying explains that the Tianyin sect master is not foolish, and already realized Yuling Mountain was pulling the strings, so the transfer was only bait. Zhu Taiji colluded with outsiders for personal gain, and even ordered the hunt of Extreme Yin Cave disciples, so he was stripped of status and resources, while his weaker followers were eliminated. Wan Weiying even says it would have been better to kill Zhu Taiji and refine him into a corpse general. So Xuan smiles knowingly, realizing even Tianyin sect's leadership does not fully trust each other. Wan Weiying admits they fear his growth but need him for now, then suddenly coughs violently. So Xuan quickly pretends concern and offers healing pills. Wan Weiying waves it off, saying such pills are useless to him. Inside, So Xuan sneers coldly as he was only pretending anyway. Wan Weiying says his injury is minor, and he will recover after seclusion, and grants So Xuan freedom of action since Extreme Yin Cave's reputation has risen. In the Blood Mirror realm, Duan Pengfei's corpse hangs suspended. Looking at the spoils, So Xuan feels fully satisfied with spirit stones, artifacts, blood pearls, goo insects, evil pills, and demonic talismans piled up. But the most valuable gains are three secret techniques. The first is Turtle Breath Art, a top-grade foundation establishment method that perfectly hides one's aura. The second is Fierce Poison Scripture, detailing countless poison techniques from qi refining to foundation establishment. The third is Tenfold Foundation Seizing Art, which allows him to seize an author's spiritual root and implant it into himself. staring at Duan Pengfei's body. So Xuan smiles, knowing that top-grade lightning spiritual root is almost his. However, the ritual requires 3 supporting pills, including an extremely rare top-grade foundation establishment pill. Luckily, he had a spirit farm inside his trial ground to grow spiritual plants, but he still lacked some seeds, so he had to visit the market. At the tea house, Chu Xuan had completely changed his appearance. A man walked in and said, "I am Lao Han, who's here to buy spirit plant seeds." The moment they met, both stayed on guard. Chu Xuan recognized him instantly, and the other man clearly saw through him too. Han Liaoyun stared at him and asked, "Chu Xuan, what are you doing here?" Chu Xuan stayed calm. "Didn't you say we could work together? I'm here for business. But how did you recognize me?" Han Liaoyun smiled faintly. "I remember the aura of anyone I've fought. Relax, I won't expose you." He sat down and asked, "The buyer is your fellow disciple?" Chu Xuan answered vaguely, hinting it was himself. Han Liaoyun looked confused. "You're a demonic cultivator and you want to farm?" Chu Xuan lost patience. "Stop asking. Show me the goods." Han Liaoyun placed the seeds on the table. Chu Xuan checked them and nodded. "Name your price." 30 low-grade spirit stones per jin, 1,000 jin total. You can also pay with great blood beads. Chu Xuan tossed out a pile of blood beads. "The extra is your information fee." Han Liaoyun froze. "So the one who bought intel last time was you?" He picked up a great blood bead and examined it carefully. "Wait, I've seen this type before. Don't tell me Han Liang was you in disguise too?" Chu Xuan smiled and nodded. "Correct." Han Liaoyun was stunned. He had been trading with Chu Xuan for a long time without knowing. His own disguise skills now felt like a joke. The scene shifts to the alchemy room. A loud explosion shakes the space. Chu Xuan frowned at the pill furnace, spewing thick black smoke. He covered his nose, annoyed. Failed again. This is harder than it looks. Thanks to abundant materials, after countless attempts, he barely managed to refine 2 high-grade foundation establishment pills. But every attempt to create a top-grade one failed at the final step. He had to admit his skills were lacking and seek help. Right then, the stone at his waist suddenly shattered. Chu Xuan looked at the fragments and smiled. The bait has been taken. Soon after, he returned to the tea house. Han Liaoyun said, "I found your person, a top-tier foundation establishment alchemist. You provide materials, 500 spirit stones fee. If successful, she takes a share." Chu Xuan agreed immediately, but demanded she refine the pill in front of him. Han Liaoyun hesitated, then decided to ask her. He sent a message through a jade slip. Soon a reply came. She agreed and would arrive shortly. Not long after, a woman appeared. Han Liaoyun introduced her. "This is Ran Xiao, a disciple of Miaoyin Palace." She spoke calmly. "I am alchemist Ran Xiao. You're the one who needs the pill?" Chu Xuan got straight to the point and handed over the materials and payment. After checking them, Ran Xiao requested a quiet space. Soon the 3 entered a secret chamber. Ran Xiao took out her pill furnace and began refining. Her movements were smooth and precise. Every herb was handled perfectly. Chu Xuan watched closely, silently impressed. Han Liaoyun whispered that watching was useless without talent. Chu Xuan ignored him and kept staring, until Han Liaoyun grew bored and left. After 30 shichen, Ran Xiao was visibly tired and let out a breath. Golden light spread from the furnace. She glanced at Chu Xuan, surprised he had watched the entire time. A trace of unease rose in her heart, but she remained calm. Just then, Han Liaoyun returned, teasing, "So, did you learn anything?" Chu Xuan answered simply no, leaving one speechless and the other relieved. Ran Xiao handed over the pill and reminded him about setting up a protective formation. Chu Xuan watched her leave, realizing she was far from simple. Han Liaoyun warned him about her background and the forces protecting her. He revealed he once took an assassination job against her, but was bought off for a high price. Hearing that, Chu Xuan lost interest, tossed him a blood bead, and told him to leave. Han Liaoyun still refused to give up and invited him to explore a secret realm. When Chu Xuan declined, he looked confused. Chu Xuan replied coldly, "I'm not like the others. My goal is to lay down the butcher's blade and become a Buddha on the spot." Han Liaoyun cursed under his breath, convinced Chu Xuan was truly abnormal. Dragging him along would be harder than plucking stars from the sky. Back on Hylon planet, Duan Pengfei slowly regained consciousness, feeling like he had just walked out of the gates of hell. The moment he opened his eyes, anger surged. "Damn it, I activated the jade slip. Why couldn't I contact Master Zhu Taiji?" His mind was filled with questions. How did Chu Xuan even find this eerie place that feeds on endless death energy to grow spiritual plants? No wonder Hez so terrifying. Right at that moment, Chu Xuan returned as well. Duan Pengfei's heart nearly stopped. Chu Xuan appeared in midair, far beyond what a normal foundation establishment cultivator could do. Chu Xuan looked at him with an unreadable smile. "Sorry to keep you waiting. Don't worry. I'll send you on your way soon." In despair, Duan Pengfei struggled weakly. "I don't want to die, don't come closer." Chu Xuan leaned in, his voice cold as wind. It won't hurt, just relax and enjoy. The process of extracting a spirit root has 3 steps: dig, preserve, and transfer. Each step requires a specific pill. As he spoke, Chu Xuan shoved one into Duan Pengfei's mouth. It was a spirit-sealing pill, suppressing his ability to merge with spiritual energy and temporarily separating the spirit root from his body. Panic exploded in his mind. He had no idea what he swallowed, only that he completely lost connection with his spirit root. What is happening? Suddenly, a cold blade pierced his abdomen. Blood spilled out as he cried in pain. Chu Xuan calmly located the position and said, "The spirit root lies 3 kun deep in the spirit sea. Once a cultivator dies, it dissipates. That's why I kept you alive." Then he slowly pulled a glowing spirit root out from Duan Pengfei's body. A sinister grin spread across his face. This is the legendary top-grade thunder spirit root. As the spirit root was torn away, Duan Pengfei screamed in agony, while Chu Xuan admired his prize with excitement. After a while, Chu Xuan frowned. "Too noisy. It's giving me a headache." Then he ended his life coldly, silencing Duan Pengfei forever. Holding the thunder spirit root, he knew he had to use a spirit-stabilizing pill quickly, or it would fade once exposed to air. Next, he needed another spirit-sealing pill to detach his own original spirit root. To implant a new one, he had to destroy the old one first. Without hesitation, Chu Xuan pulled out his blade. He stabbed straight into his own abdomen. The pain made him grit his teeth. Reaching into his dantian, he brutally tore out his own spirit root. The moment the space was empty, he inserted Duan Pengfei's top-grade thunder spirit root in its place. After finishing, he looked almost insane, swallowing blood-nourishing pills non-stop to replenish his massive blood loss. Still holding his bloody old spirit root, he called out, "Little tiger, come here." Even though his body was on the verge of collapse, he forced the extra spirit root into the tiger's body. Once done, his eyes rolled back and he collapsed unconscious. Little Tiger could only growl anxiously beside him. Several days passed. With Little Tiger's care, Chu Xuan was placed on a bed, but he remained unconscious. Finally, his tired eyes slowly opened. After checking his body, he jumped up and laughed in excitement. "Success! The top-grade thunder spirit root has perfectly fused with me." Suddenly, strange hesitant sounds echoed beside him. Chu Xuan turned to Little Tiger in disbelief. After observing carefully, he grew intrigued. The beast's body had clearly changed. The transformation was huge. Little Tiger looked excited, its front paws twisting together as it tried to make sounds. "Guaka!" Chu Xuan rubbed his chin, eyes lighting up. "Don't tell me you're trying to speak human language? Come on, Little Tiger. Try again." The beast adjusted its jaw with its paw. It tried to pronounce words, but only produced meaningless noises. Frustrated, it threw its head back and roared. Chu Xuan pondered. Even if it couldn't speak clearly, the intelligence in its eyes was real. Meanwhile, Little Tiger was upset it couldn't express itself. In theory, a corpse beast must reach a high level before speaking simple words. Yet his was only at corpse general level and already showing signs. Its potential was clearly extraordinary. A moving corpse body, originally mindless, now carrying a cultivator's spirit root, a rare existence. It could freely absorb spiritual energy, even cultivate techniques and cast spells like a human. It felt as if he had touched the laws of creation and made something beyond control. He patted the beast gently. "Little Tiger, don't rush. Learning to speak takes time." Hearing that, Little Tiger roared excitedly, shaking the room. The scene shifts. Chu Xuan sat cross-legged in meditation, white mist slowly leaving his breath. His gaze swept over the items laid before him as he calculated. His spirit root system had changed completely. A righteous cultivator would have to cripple his cultivation and start over. But as a demonic cultivator, long used to seizing other spirit roots, Chu Xuan naturally had a way to maintain his strength without destroying his cultivation. The Blood Fiend Demon Refining Scripture was exactly that kind of special technique. Though it started with yin attributes, it could convert into other 5 elements, and since lightning is yang, shifting it to lightning was even smoother than expected. The only thing he needed now was that piece of lightning-struck black wood. Lightning carried terrifying destruction, yet also hidden vitality, just like the laws of nature. Once fully refined, it would not only convert his spiritual power but also upgrade his physique. 2 gains in 1 move. The next day, tiny cracks appeared on the surface of the lightning-struck wood. Then it slowly split into 2 halves. Chu Xuan wiped the sweat from his forehead and let out a breath. Finally, it worked. He circulated his power and thrust his palm toward the wall. Blue spiritual energy burst from his hand, turning into a blazing bolt of lightning. In an instant, the wall was pierced through, sparks still flickering in the air. A satisfied smile appeared on his face. With lightning spiritual power, he would dominate opponents at the same level. With all his hidden trump cards, even against a peak 9th layer foundation establishment cultivator, he felt no fear. It was time to return to the sect. He opened the teleportation gate. Soon, Chushuan returned to Wan Weiying's cave abode. Master, you summoned me? Suddenly, he froze in shock. This corpse aura was suffocating, comparable to the Golden Core stage. Master, is this the legendary corpse marshal? Wan Weiying turned around and stroked his beard. Correct. While recovering, I refined the corpse of Taoist Baigu and created this. Chushuan immediately flattered him. Master is truly unmatched. In the future, you will surely reach nascent soul and dominate the world. Wan Weiying waved it off. Stop that. This sect only has the two of us left. What glory is there? If it fades away, so be it. Chushuan silently found his attitude strange. Wan Weiying's gaze turned serious. I called you here today to pass down the secret method of forming a golden core. Chushuan's heart stirred. A calculating smile appeared. The chance to advance had arrived. Wan Weiying raised his hand. There are 4 paths to forming a golden core. First, compress spiritual energy into liquid, then condense it into a core. This is the orthodox path. The power is immense, but cultivation speed is the slowest. Without at least a mid-grade spirit root and decades of accumulation, it's nearly impossible. Still, if you insist, I have a conversion method here. He handed over a manual. After the ancient era, spiritual energy declined sharply, making the orthodox path extremely difficult. So later generations created 3 more paths. One is using a demon beast's inner core as a base, forcing spiritual energy into it to form a beast golden core. The capacity isn't outstanding, but the destructive power is terrifying. However, borrowing a beast core carries huge risks. The cultivator may inherit the beast's instincts, becoming bloodthirsty or losing control. Hearing this, Chushuan felt a chill. That kind of power came at a heavy price. Wan Weiying took out 2 more manuals. This is the Fire Ape Core method and the Thunderbird Core method, using fire and lightning beast cores as foundations. But by now Chushuan was lost in his own thoughts. Noticing his distraction, Wan Weiying continued. The 3rd path is using the power of a magic artifact to condense the core. I don't have this method. You'll have to find it yourself. With this method, spiritual power may not match a beast core, but combined with a suitable artifact, its might increases greatly. It's called the Artifact Golden Core, and it varies by artifact type. Wan Weiying sat down, his tone firm. The 4th path is the one I chose. Gather the spirit seeds of 100 foundation establishment cultivators, and refine them into a core. As he spoke, he summoned his own golden core. 100 spirits enter the body. The golden core forms itself. This is the blood spirit core. Chushuan quickly sorted it out in his mind. Orthodox core, beast core, artifact core, blood spirit core. Even with weakened spiritual energy, cultivators found new paths. Wan Weiying stared at him. Choose. Which path will you take? Chushuan clenched his fists, eyes firm. I want all of them. Wan Weiying almost lost his temper. You're too greedy. But he sighed in the end. Fine. You're my only hope anyway. If I don't nurture you, who else can I rely on? Chushuan frowned slightly. The others? Wan Weiying laughed. My reputation isn't small anymore. Of course I recruited more people. He clapped his hands. Come in. Let me introduce you. A group of people walked into the cave one by one. They all knelt in salute. Greetings, ancestor. Greetings, grandmaster. Greetings, senior brother. Wan Weiying pointed at one of them. This is Xu Ming, early foundation establishment. He introduced the rest. Survivors from a destroyed sect, now taken in here. There were also new disciples who passed strict selection. I don't take chi refining disciples. You'll handle guiding them. I have other matters. Chushuan immediately protested. Master, I'm not fit to teach others. Wan Weiying glanced coldly. Do as you wish. Just don't cause trouble like last time. Chushuan's face darkened with obvious reluctance, leaving Xu Ming and the others confused. But inside, he was already calculating. A plan slowly formed. Suddenly, he turned and gave orders. Junior brother Xu, junior sister Li, you two divide them and manage the group. I have urgent matters. The new disciples are in your hands. The 2 were startled. Senior brother Chu, we may not be capable enough. Chushuan turned serious and spoke gently. Don't underestimate yourselves. Im's the senior brother, but not good at teaching. Explaining and guiding suits thoughtful people like you more. He added that this was a rare chance to train themselves. Inside, he felt quite pleased. This arrangement benefited him perfectly. Then he calmly took out his communication artifact and operated it quickly. News flashed before him. Fentian sect is expanding north. Bailian sect is fighting back fiercely. Heavy casualties on both sides. The war is intense. Chushuan read with satisfaction, like watching a profitable battle unfold. His intelligence network was finally showing results, feeding him constant updates. Suddenly, the artifact vibrated again. New report. An ancient ruin has been discovered in the Yunwu mountain range. Many treasures inside, even magic treasures. Chu Xuan's lips curved slightly. Where there are treasures, there is conflict, and chaos is his ideal environment. Even if he wouldn't risk it personally, he knew a bustling market would soon form nearby, plenty of profit to harvest. Still, he wanted to confirm the information first. Chu Xuan disguised himself and quietly entered a tea house in the market. The moment he sat down, hidden weapons shot at him from behind. Mid-air, the attack split into 3 deadly angles. Chu Xuan barely moved. A blood-red hand appeared and crushed them all. Outside, Han Liyun walked in laughing. Not bad reaction, right? That's my newest hidden weapon. Chu Xuan replied indifferently. It's decent. Han Liyun looked proud, unable to hide his joy. Then he added with slight respect. Your poisoning skills improved fast. Even I have to stay cautious. With a casual wave, all the poison gas in the room vanished. Chu Xuan thought calmly. Studying the poison scripture in seclusion paid off. Every time he met Han Liaoyun, it became a free test run. If he could poison him lightly and still fail to kill him, it meant his mastery wasn't complete. Only when a single trace of poison could send him to the grave would he consider himself perfected. Han Liaoyun finally sat down, expression serious. Before he could speak, Chu Xuan coldly cut in, guessing his plan about the underground ruin in Yunwu Mountains. Han Liaoyun froze in shock, clearly impressed by Chu Xuan's information network. Calm yet probing, Chu Xuan asked about his intentions. Han Liaoyun smirked confidently, confirming he planned to infiltrate. His gaze turned sharp and surprised. Chu Xuan's aura had clearly changed, likely due to obtaining a top-grade spirit root. In truth, even those with top-grade spirit roots have an extremely low chance of reaching the golden core stage. Rumors of a magic treasure inside the underground ruin made it even more tempting, not to mention possible cultivation treasures. He refused to miss such a rare chance. Hearing his determination, Chu Xuan felt a quiet sigh in his heart. Cultivation is gambling with your life for spirit stones, artifacts, and formations. Seeing him silent, Han Liaoyun frowned and mentioned the possibility of a golden core opportunity hidden inside. Chu Xuan only smiled and shook his head, claiming he disliked killing and wanted world peace. He said goodbye and left decisively. But in truth, he had already confirmed the information and was planning ahead. Watching his back, Han Liaoyun broke into cold sweat, recalling how ruthless Chu Xuan truly was. Back in his luxurious cave, Chu Xuan sat cross-legged and adjusted his breathing. After one cultivation cycle, he checked his communication artifact. The long-awaited intelligence report had arrived. The main entrance of the Yunwu ruin was fully controlled by Shengon's sect. Other side entrances were divided among different forces and heavily guarded. Some major factions even sent Golden Core experts personally. Tension between righteous sects was at its peak. A large-scale war was imminent. Pioneer cultivators rushed in. A few survived with great rewards. Those who complied were recruited. Those who resisted were eliminated. Reading this, Chu Xuan realized the ruin was far from ordinary. Even Golden Core powerhouses were drawn in. Then he noticed something odd. This information was already 2 days old. The latest update said the sects had opened access to rogue cultivators, but with a high entrance fee. Chu Xuan sneered. If it were truly a treasure vault, the major forces would never share. This was another chess game. Han Seijian had vanished despite his strength. Clearly, countless hidden dangers lay beneath. The weaker cultivators were nothing but cannon fodder. To preserve his life, Chu Xuan decisively gave up heading to Yunwu. 2 quiet days passed. Wan Weiying's voice suddenly echoed. The underground ruin was actually the corpse ghost palace of Huangquan Dao sect. He had already entered to seek fortune. The next choice was up to Chu Xuan. Chu Xuan folded his arms, slightly displeased, so his master finally revealed the truth. The name Huangquan Dao sect sounded familiar. A memory flashed. His eyes widened in realization. Huangquan Dao sect was once a peak force during the prosperous era, ruling many nations. Later, internal strife split it apart, forming several major sects that still exist today. He stood up slowly. Hands behind his back, he assessed calmly. Compared to such an ancient giant, his current sect was nothing. Even cautious Wan Weiying couldn't resist diving in. His fists tightened. The urge to follow and seize benefits wavered in his heart. But just before deciding, a flash of clarity stopped him. News of the Corpse Ghost Palace had spread too fast. Even ordinary cultivators knew about it. And if it were truly priceless, why were some major sects still busy fighting elsewhere, instead of competing for it? The deeper he thought, the stronger the scent of conspiracy became. In the end, he decisively gave up. He sat down, calmed his mind, and forced himself not to be ruled by greed. For now, he would stay still, watch the situation, and prepare an escape route. 10 days later, rapid knocks shattered the silence, and Chen Guo's urgent voice came from outside. Chu Xuan opened the door and stepped out. In just a few days, Chen Guo looked worn out and pale as he knelt to report. His face was drained of blood as he spoke of a major disaster, making Chu Xuan even more irritated. Around the ruins, a strange black mist had swallowed the mountains, draining every beast into dried corpses. A cultivator tried to rush in and save people, but he also died, and only one survivor escaped to tell the tale. Hearing this, Chu Xuan's expression changed as a chill ran down his spine. He was now certain the place was no opportunity, but a deadly land meant to kill the weak. Before Chen Guo could finish, Chu Xuan calmly guessed that the surrounding forces had already made their moves. Chen Guo stared in shock and nodded repeatedly, full of admiration. He quickly explained that Fen Tian sect had launched a suicide assault, crushing the southern defense of Tian Yin sect and marching straight for its core, though it was still unclear if Golden Core experts had joined. Chu Xuan let out a cold breath and stated firmly that Golden Core cultivators were definitely involved. In his eyes, the game was already decided, and Tian Yin sect was doomed. Chen Guo panicked and begged for guidance, hoping to survive. Chu Xuan's gaze turned icy as he bluntly reminded him that he was just a mortal with no duty to the cultivation world. When Chen Guo cried about his ties and burdens, Chu Xuan cut him off and forced him to choose between life and everything else. Faced with death, Chen Guo trembled and finally accepted. After wiping his tears, he left to prepare his escape, while Chu Xuan watched his shrinking figure in silence. That afternoon, Chu Xuan brought a jar of wine to a lonely grave covered in moss. He slowly poured the wine on the ground and spoke softly about the chaos and the present crisis. Memories of the sect surfaced, once lively, now reduced to ruins and scattered survivors. Even those still alive might not survive this calamity, and the future looked bleak. He finished the wine, glanced back at the grave, and muttered a final farewell to his senior brother, knowing only the cold and resolute survive this cruel path. After the upheaval, a powerful force led by Golden Core experts formed and charged toward Tianyin sect's stronghold. Most of Tianyin sect's leaders were trapped in the ruins, forcing their nascent soul ancestor to come out and fight. But the enemy had prepared an ambush, waiting to strike the moment he appeared. A world-shaking battle raged for 7 days, leveling mountains and rivers, and in the end the nascent soul expert was gravely injured and fled. With momentum soaring, Fen Tian sect shattered the mountain-protecting formation and destroyed Tianyin sect's foundation. Just like the sects before it, Tianyin sect fell in blood and despair. Meanwhile, in a luxury hotel in Heilun, Chu Xuan lay comfortably on a bed, casually enjoying fresh fruit. A hint of pride rose in Chu Xuan's heart, as he felt those past hunts were nothing worth fearing. The door cracked open, and a head peeked in with an annoying, probing look. Chu Xuan gave a lazy glance and calmly asked for the update. He stepped outside, and a subordinate immediately bowed in respect. Sitting down, Chu Xuan signaled for the report to begin. The subordinate carefully explained that during his absence, a new force called Science City had risen in northern Yanhan and was now dominating the war. Chu Xuan closed his eyes and told him to continue. The other side had invited him to join, but the offer was already rejected. Hearing that, he nodded in satisfaction, unwilling to waste time on trivial matters. A faint smile appeared as he thought none of it mattered, because only cultivation strength was truly real. The scene shifted to another city, where a young boy was fleeing in panic. As he ran, he noticed the once dangerous zone was now empty, guessing someone had cleared it. In despair, he tried to use the terrain to escape and regretted his past decisions. Painful memories flooded back, as his family had been captured and turned into experiments to protect him. Tears streamed down, but his will to survive only grew stronger. Suddenly, rolling black mist surged forward and blocked his path. Facing the terrifying scene, he hesitated, clearly sensing the danger. The sounds of pursuit closed in from behind. With no other choice, he rushed straight into the black mist. An armed war vehicle arrived, and the pursuers stopped to observe the strange phenomenon. The others got out one by one and began checking the area. They speculated that the target might already be dead, but no one dared to confirm it. A woman firmly objected, insisting they verify it under orders. She showed interest in the strange energy ahead. To her, it felt like a rare energy source that made her senses tremble. Tempted to test it, she believed absorbing it would make the hunt easier. She reached out her hand toward the swirling black mist. Instantly, strands of black energy wrapped around Xiao Mei, pulling her into a dizzy trance. She spread her arms proudly, laughing as she felt her power surge from level 5 to level 6, then level 7. A loud rip echoed as her tight outfit burst under the pressure. The dyed-hair man froze in horror and stammered, asking what had possessed her. Xiao Mei, her mind clouded by the black mist, blankly asked what was wrong. She failed to notice her body swelling unnaturally, as the black energy flooded every pore. When the change became obvious, fear finally hit her, and she screamed that it was too much. But it was too late, and her body exploded midair in an instant. The dyed-hair man trembled in sweat, shocked that a level 4 superhuman was crushed so easily. He grabbed his communicator in panic and urgently contacted headquarters. He reported Xiao Mei's death from over-absorbing black energy and confirmed a massive dark nest at Longxi River. Suddenly, he felt a cold, killing intent behind him as Xiao Hu lunged out from the shadows. Without warning, a powerful punch smashed his head apart. His arrogant skull burst like a crushed melon, and Xiao Hu let out a low growl. Then he dragged the headless corpse back and tossed it before Chu Xuan. Chu Xuan did not even bother to look, and calmly told him to deal with it himself, since he had bigger matters to handle. The boy stood silent while Chu Xuan observed, and realized he survived the fierce corrosion of Yin Sha energy, and even used the Grand Formation to wipe out his pursuers. To Chu Xuan, killing trash like them was easy, but the boy's bold move to borrow his hand made him slightly interested. Chu Xuan tapped his fingers lightly and asked if the boy had something important to offer. The boy cupped his hands and said it was the true source of spiritual energy, and he knew its exact location. Chu Xuan nodded for him to continue, and the boy explained that 10 years ago scientists dug up a damaged ancient artifact in a mine that radiated terrifying spiritual energy. Those who touched it either mutated into bloodthirsty monsters or awakened as superhumans, and the spiritual outbreak across Yanhan started from that event. Scientists confirmed that ancient blood artifact was the origin of all spiritual energy, and their superhuman army was built because of it. If it keeps developing, beings comparable to immortals might appear. Hearing that, Chu Xuan let out a faint chuckle. The boy quickly added that he knew where the artifact was hidden and was willing to guide him, admitting he used this method to save someone important. His eyes darkened with sorrow as he knelt and begged for one chance, even offering his life afterward. Chu Xuan stroked his chin and silently judged that this kid had planned every move, even predicting he might be silenced. A faint smile touched his lips as he said the boy miscalculated, because he had no interest in killing a nobody, and the yin poison had already sealed his fate. After a brief pause, Chu Xuan agreed, and the boy lit up with gratitude before coughing violently from exhaustion. The scene shifted as the boy laid out a map like a strategist and began analyzing the plan. He explained that the underground base was in Yinjing City of Yuan Province. The loss of 2 generals at Longxi would raise Science City's alert to around 45%, with 10 superhumans guarding headquarters, and the rest split into 2 squads. One squad was finishing off the corpse, Queen, and likely had a 68% chance of moving south to block them, while the other had an 88% chance of shifting east to encircle them. Each squad had over 20 superhumans, with a level 6 leader, and hundreds of trained subordinates. A long yawn cut him off as Chu Xuan waved his hand and said that was enough. Before the boy could react, a crimson soul chain shot out and bound him, making him cry out in shock. Chu Xuan pointed toward the horizon and declared that as long as he knew the destination, the rest were just shrimp, not worth his attention. The boy stood speechless, mind completely blank. In the next second, Chu Xuan dragged him into the sky and shot toward the clouds. Suspended mid-air, the boy watched the immortal riding the wind and felt this gamble might be the boldest choice of his life. Amid the roaring wind, Sheng Liang shouted in his heart for his sister to hold on as he brought the immortal to save her. On a desolate plain, gray figures gathered in chaos. At the center stood Zhong Shuo, a level 6 captain of Science City, bald, smoking, and scanning the area arrogantly. Beneath his foot, a fanged beast was crushed without mercy. A subordinate rushed over and reported that all monsters were cleared, and the city was now a true dead zone. A girl frowned and asked about the 2 people killed earlier, and the man scoffed that anyone who insulted Science City deserved death. Zhong Shuo stubbed out his cigarette and coldly ordered them to stop killing survivors, since they could still be used as labor or test subjects. He waved his hand and ordered the team to prepare for withdrawal. With that, he leapt high into the air. The hidden subordinates emerged one after another, shouting that the mission was complete and it was time to head back. But before they could celebrate, Zhong Shuo suddenly froze mid-air, his face turning cold, and his teammate quickly asked what had happened. Landing back on the ground, Zhong Shuo's gaze swept across the team as he revealed Lao Wang and Xiao Mei were dead, and headquarters suspected Sheng Liang had gained help from a cultivator now heading straight for Science City, so he ordered everyone south to join Squad 2 and intercept, a smirk rising as he said he had long wanted to test a cultivator's strength. High above the clouds, Chu Xuan still carried Sheng Liang upside down as he tore through the sky towards Science City's power center. A sharp glint flashed in Chu Xuan's eyes, and a faint smile curved on his lips, as if he had finally found something truly interesting.